All right, y'all. Welcome to All Politics Local, America's number one political hip hop radio talk show. Y'all know if it's Friday, y'all know it's time for All Politics Local. But more importantly, y'all know if it is the third Friday, y'all know it is the mayor's forum. However, the mayor has a prior engagement, so he's not going to be available tonight. So instead of that, we're going to have a couple of folks come through and talk about a number of things that are going on in the community that are very important. Of course, first we're going to have up. There's going to be the Reverend Councilwoman at Large Roundtree talking about the Madam Louise Scott Legacy Brunch that's coming up tomorrow, June 22nd. At the Kroger Scott Mansion, so she's going to be on. She's going to talk about that, and then after that, we're going to have Larry come on, Larry Ham from the People's Organization for Progress. He's going to come on, and then we're going to talk about the march that they have coming up tomorrow uh, at 12 noon. It is the Juneteenth
Race.
reparation
Yes.
march rally tomorrow. So we're going to have him come up and talk about that. So that's going to be tomorrow at 12 noon at the Lincoln Monument on
Yes,
Springfield
sir.
Avenue and Market Street.
Mhm.
So he'll be up talking about that. And then what's coming up after that, Zaid?
Josiah Muhammad from the Brick City Peace Collective. And I'm surprised that Josiah hasn't been on the show before because he's been doing important
Yeah,
leadership work with BCPC for a minute.
yeah. I
But
can't believe Josiah hasn't been on. I can't
yeah,
believe that.
yeah. So this is going to
He
be
said
his
he
first.
never been on.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I have no recollection of him being on, and he
Wow.
didn't. He and neither did he. He's aware of it, but this is his first. This is his first run.
Wow.
So the
Okay.
summer coming up, there's a lot to talk about in terms of all of the work in the community-based violence intervention ecosystem. So he'll eat that up. Behind him, the great James McIntosh, Dr. James McIntosh from CEMOTAP,
Oh yeah.
committee for the committee to eliminate media offensive to African people. Organization's been around about 30 years. Him and Dr. Betty Dobson started that back in the early 90s. And recently there has been a show. It's a comic, uh, it's a very racist and violent comic rebooting of the classic sitcom that a lot of us grew up on called Good Times. And he has organized some protests aimed at Netflix for this racist reboot. Uh,
Oh wow.
and we're going to talk about their next steps in terms of putting pressure on Netflix to drop that campaign. It's something really disgusting. You saw some of the images, you know what I'm talking about. But we're going to let him get into that in his inimitable way.
Has
But then,
have they started broadcasting it already?
yeah, I think so.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't have that channel, but yeah, I think they have.
It would be interesting to reach out to Michael Evans. He's in Brooklyn. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
and
get him on and
a
get
little
his.
bit of all of the actors had been on that show, and locally,
Yeah.
James A. from East Orange, and I would love to know
Oh
his
yeah.
story. He's from right in East Orange. Um,
Yeah.
we'll get into that. We'll get into that. I'm sure he'll have some of those answers to those questions.
Okay.
Yeah, and then after that, of course, DJ Rhino will wind us up with the latest in the land of hip hop. So it's a
All
full
right.
show. Hmm.
Yeah. So while we wait for Roundtree, I'll send her a text a reminder. But so what's going on in the land of crazy ass Trump, man? You know, or what's not? Because because the thing is, there's no momentum, man. Right? There's no momentum on the Democrat side, right? All the momentum seems to be, on the Republican side. You know, we're not really hearing, you know, like folks surrogates touring around, and like they were in 2020. Remember, I mean, every weekend it seemed like somebody was doing a rally around elections, around voter registration, or something. I mean, we're not hearing it. Are we just waiting for the Democratic convention? Is that what that is?
I hope not. In fact, I have my own worries about the Democratic Convention itself. It's going back to Chicago, and if you've and back in 1968, one of the craziest years in the history of this country in terms of political violence, the Democratic Convention was in Chicago,
Right,
and there was serious protests going on about who was sitting in the White House over a war question. Right, that's when Lyndon Johnson was on his way out because he expanded the Vietnam War instead of ending it. And the student protest movement emerged along with the Black Liberation Movement emerged, and all that converged on that convention in Chicago. And Mayor Daley turned the police into you
right,
know whipping board, and they beat the hell out of a whole lot of people at that convention, and a bunch of folks went on trial in a very real way, including founding chairman of the Black Panther Party, Bobby Seale. This climate with the Palestinian question, the Israeli military genocide campaign in Gaza, we've got parallel dynamics. So it remains to be seen how that's going to play out. Uh, but there's also energy. There is some energy. I think folks are just really just this area for some reason doesn't seem to be as lit. Be
no,
in terms of Democrats trying to get themselves together. They
yeah,
have been trying to raise some stature, some image stature stuff. Obama and Biden did a fundraiser together that was very celebrity driven, and they tend to have that on lock. But in terms of urgency, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see how this is going to play out.
you
Biden
know,
really hurt himself with that mess in Gaza.
I think they're raising the money, right? But like Tamika said, I mean, if they,
How they can use it.
yeah, I mean, they raising the money, but like she said, they're not spending it, and they're not spending it with the base. The base are predominantly black folks, right?
The most
So
loyal
we're
wing
not
of the
seeing
so-called Democratic Party has been the African American vote. I don't know
right.
why,
So if
but
we're,
that's the
yeah,
truth.
but if we're not seeing that in the community, and like the mayor said last month when he came on, he's saying, he's not seeing, any particular enthusiasm around the campaign. And that's my point, Zaid. I think that if you got the money, because it's been said they raised $1 billion. And so next week
Wow.
is going to be the first debate between him and Trump.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're waiting to see how that debate go, or they're waiting for the Democratic convention. What are they waiting for, right? Because I think you less than now almost 6 months, what, 5 months out from November,
Yeah. That's gonna
and I
move
think you
fast.
gotta you gotta and that's one of the reasons why I think Jamon Bowman is in trouble, right? Because I think the messaging, right, that these people are not getting out there, and people are not really campaigning, and so we don't really have that kind of enthusiasm in our community at this point.
I hear several things. I'm gonna try not to be terribly pessimistic about this on this particular front. I think we may see something if the folks who were protesting Biden support everybody who came out strong in a principled way around Gaza. We actually might see an expansion or the securing of a progressive base within Congress. We may, right? I know there's been a lot of Bowman's being targeted is very high profile, but APAC has targeted everybody.
Right.
But the thing that we need not miss out of any particular element in this national conversation right now that is mobilized, it has it's the Palestinian solidarity movement. They are mobilized, right? And if they respond and support the AOCs, the Baumans, the Corey Bushes, a lot of appreciation for Corey Bush, right? And everybody else, right here locally, Bonnie Coleman Watson, came out for those ceasefire early, right? Against the grain, against that APAC money grain, you know. Uh, So I think if that base does some targeted voting in a mature way, I think we may actually see an expansion of that crew that we call the squad,
Right.
right? And that'll be a healthy thing. Now, how that plays out in terms of what the ultimate leadership composition is going to be in the Congress and in the Senate, time will tell. And having said that, there's this other thing that we got to look at. The Zionist lobby, APAC, is driving hard to crush the capacity of people's protests around the Palestinian solidarity movement. And they're using the weaponization of the new McCarthy Congress to do that. They pushed through a bill uh, that expands anti Semitism to include not criticizing the state of Israel. If you do, that's a problem.
Right.
And so there's this serious assault on free speech and freedom of assembly. And that bill went through Congress.
Mm.
It remains to be seen if it'll go through the Senate, but that bill went through Congress with a lot of so-called nonpartisan support because APAC bought up a lot of those congressmen who were Democrats, including a whole lot of black Democrats.
Mm.
All right, so it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Right here, and there's a local expression of that happening in Jersey, and then they call it, the country's great for euphemisms, right? The Anti-Semitism Awareness Act, right? There are two arms of it in New Jersey that are being pushed through the Senate right now. In fact, there was supposed to be some hearings today, if I'm not mistaken. I've been trying to get some folks that come talk to us who have been out front of trying to derail that. But that's a nonpartisan bill.
Mm.
It's got about 10 co-sponsors, right? Democrats and Republicans, all taking that APAC money, right? Uh, but the reveal of the whole new wave of voters who have not voted before or whose vote has been dismissed can have an impact of its own,
Hmm.
right? So and that's the X factor. All these folks, you know, black, white, Jewish, Muslim, Palestinian, or from Islamic backgrounds, and not all that make up that solidarity movement, right? And particularly the Muslim voters. We have a lot of immigrants in this country who are Muslim,
Yeah.
right? And,
Yeah.
and that's a large block, and they demonstrated their block in Michigan when they really put together a strong, uncommitted presence in the Michigan primary to send Biden a message, right? So that there is an X factor that can work for the people. We hope as things play out. We'll see. Time will tell, as Malcolm always said.
Well, I think that's right. I think that, time will tell. However, I think that, if we don't get our community energized based around an ideal and based around our interests, I think that when November come around, we're going to be lagging. And, that's one, and, it's funny, I should have went back and located James Mtume interview when he told us in 2020 everybody was sort of saying what we're saying now, except that people were saying back then, Zaid, oh, Trump can't win. No, he's too far to the right. This guy cannot win. And Tume was one of the only ones that I know who was saying, don't underestimate this guy.
Why can't he win? That's right.
Right. And now what you hear
January
is
6th happened.
right. Yeah. And so
And there wasn't just a whole lot of people who did that. There were a whole lot more people who supported it.
right.
And
Right.
there are people in certain places who can protect that,
Right.
right?
And
If they do win, and they did it with that intent.
yeah. And remember, Zaid, the one thing that rings true to me in my head constantly is when the mayor says that we should never forget that half of this country voted for that man.
That's right.
Right. So never forget that.
Biden won by a fingernail.
Huh?
Biden won by a damn fingernail.
Exactly. Right. And so when you think about that and you think about all these people, all these elected officials in Congress and in the Senate who are willing to look the other way as though there was no crime that was committed right on January 6th.
Mm-hmm.
When clearly,
That
right,
was a democratic. That was a party for saving the vote.
right. And you look at all of these people who have been convicted, who have gone to prison, who are still waiting to be tried, and you look at what's happening now in the country. I mean, and you talk about somebody who got 90 felony charges. I mean, I've never heard of nothing like that, Zaid.
You a lawyer? If you ain't heard of it, you know Western World ain't
Never
heard
heard of nothing like that because I just don't know, But you remember what the man said? The man said that he said he could use all the money that he's raising to fight them cases. I'm like, wow,
what he's
that's
doing.
that's just
Exactly
an
what he's
amazing.
doing.
So is he raising the money to run for election, or is he raising the money to fight cases?
He's probably doing some of both.
Because listen, I don't think Zaid, I don't think there's nobody alive that doesn't believe that this man is going to pardon himself. Right? Ain't nobody alive, and that's why they said they think he's just stringing the cases out to see what happens, see if he can get elected, and if he get elected, that's it. And even if he don't get elected, all that money he's not going to spend on the campaign. He's going to use all that money that these folks are giving him to fight them cases.
Yeah,
I mean, so it's a win-win situation for this guy all the way around,
it's nuts.
right? And
Absolutely.
so you got to
But it's nuts very much in the stream of
yeah.
the most reactionary flows or ebb and flows of American history. American history had a reactionary, it has its reactionary moments, and they can last for a long time, right? And that's what the overthrow of Reconstruction should be alerting us to.
Yeah, so I think that those are some big things we're gonna have to pay attention to. Have you heard about George Norcross? What happened to him this week?
When chickens came home to roost in South
That's
Jersey
what
against
I saw
politics.
that. I saw you said that. Yeah,
Oh yeah. Let's go in that. Now the question is how many folks is he gonna roll on to try and minimize him getting some time.
yeah, yeah. But now there's only one sister, right? Mayor Reed, that a black woman who was the mayor. Well, she was a councilwoman first,
Yeah,
and then she became the mayor of Camden.
yeah.
And folks are saying that we should be keeping an eye on her because what they're going to try and do and create a narrative that says she gave the city to them, right? That somehow this black woman
She
who's
ain't
from
been there that long. That would be wild. But she ain't been there that long. Then
yeah
she
she
must
was
have got down with that fool, and will
yeah
go down with that fool. 'Cause they definitely have no problems making Negroes sacrificial lambs.
you got it you absolutely got it. I mean, and the thing is remember, one of the articles I read, Zaid, now she's 56 now, but they said she started working for Norcross when she was 20 years old,
Oh wow!
right?
This is
So,
a groomed house Negro.
yeah. So they got something to do with her being elected, right? For her being in politics, right?
Well,
So she's got over a 30-year relationship with them.
that I didn't know. Wow.
Relationship, right? So if she started working for them in 20 and she's 56 now, that's 36 years,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So she's got the
He's
and
in his back pocket.
yeah. And so what I heard from some of the folks today, not today, but I heard from some of the folks yesterday down in Philadelphia, they were saying, listen, man, keep your eye on her. Because, at the end of the day, she know where all the bodies are because she been there that long.
She knows something.
Right. Yeah. And that is what they're saying is one of the reasons she's been convicted, right? Is because, she knows which is absolutely
Starting to get some distortion. And look what
what's
just
going on,
popped in.
Roundtree? Councilwoman Roundtree.
She
I think
so
she froze.
she got on. She froze up.
Yeah.
Go out, and come back in.
Well, while we're getting her
I
together,
don't think they
of
can
course,
hear me.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
Go out and come back in. You show something and see the notes back
Can
in
you
the
guys
beginning.
hear
Yeah.
me?
we can
Yes,
hear
we
you.
can.
Let me
Can
go
you
out
hear
and come
us?
back in.
Yeah, yeah. Do that.
People
It's all
calling
right.
me and you know what?
Yeah, 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 yeah. We get it. We know. We know. We know how it go.
No, sweetie.
But
He says,
but but what they're
I didn't hear
saying,
what you
Zaid,
said.
is that we've got to keep an eye on that system, man. Right, to make sure that they don't create a narrative and put all of this on her.
mm-hmm,
Right,
mm-hmm.
that somehow that because listen, man.
That's how the chickens are coming home to roost for her. See,
Right.
you dance with the devil, you get, the devil
Yeah.
to do the. Yeah.
Yeah. But these people are still being paid on all of
Oh,
those tax incentives they got, Zaid. And
yeah.
we're talking
That
about
that that
tens,
is soprano state
yeah,
gangsterism.
and we're
Come
talking
on, fire.
tens of millions of dollars. You know,
Uh-huh.
that's what we're
Well,
talking about.
Roundtree, you all right?
Yes, I'm all right. I'm traveling. Um, had to get my grandbaby, but I'm on my way
Uh-oh.
back to the wonderful, beautiful city of my birth, Newark, New Jersey.
You
Well,
have.
Roundtree,
Go ahead.
well, Roundtree, we know that you have coming up tomorrow is going to be is this the third one? The third
Second,
annual? The second? Okay. The second the second Madame Louise Scott legacy brunch.
legacy brunch. Hmm.
Yep, tomorrow, Saturday, June 22nd, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Yes,
at the Kruger Scott Mansion, right?
yes,
601 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in our
yes,
great city of Newark, all right?
yes.
So why don't you talk about that a little bit, Roundtree?
Well, and then,
So
I mean, and let them and make sure you lead. And I know you're gonna do it anyway. About talking about your mama. Your mama had a birthday, all of that a couple of days ago.
that's
We
right.
seen you.
Yesterday was my mother's birthday, so
Yeah,
we
yeah.
tried
That's
to
a big North
celebrate
story.
the birth
Go ahead.
of an icon and awesome entrepreneur who was doing economic development before they was giving out all this money to start up your
Yeah.
business. She had to work, save her money, start up her own, get her own startup capital. So her legacy is worth being not just honored, but to honor others in her memory that are doing the same thing or that are aspiring to do the same thing. So in 2019, after a life of trying to find my way through, navigate my way through life, I'm thanking God for Baba Zaid's and Ed Riley's and the Raz Barakas and the Amina Barakas who um, and Minister Abdul Haq Muhammad, people who are awoke and conscious, and Larry Ham's Adibu, that's his other name. People who are aware. I am so grateful for that awareness that they share, the history that they share, walking history books, different times, different lives, different individuals who sacrificed. But then there's the Madam Louise Scott Roundtree that came here as Louise Scott and started her own business as being a domestic, who actually was treated better by the families that she worked with because even during those periods, if we saw someone getting ahead, wanted to not hold them back, but keep them from getting more than maybe the person they were working with had. But she was independent and she was determined. So after graduating beauty school, she opened up 9 salons, and opening up 9 salons, she started the beauty school and figured if I can have 9 shops and open a school, then I can do job placement through the graduates in those nine. Come on, let me just stop right there because she was doing job
No, that's
placement
nice.
in the 40s. You know what I'm saying? So when people don't understand, and I had a conversation with someone who did not realize that was economic development. She helped others to obtain a trade other than cleaning houses. There were 3 things you could be to be successful because people are always dying. That business where you will never go out of business. And that's funeral director, hairstylist, and beautician. as to your ministry, how to create opportunities
Is she breaking up?
Yeah, yeah. I think she broke.
You just broke up. You getting it in. Just broke up again.
yeah, so those, I wouldn't call one of them a queer, but something going on. So where I'm traveling, I probably will start dropping because it's. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
Okay.
got you. We got you.
Okay, good. So let me make this. So with that being said, I thank you, Brother Ed, for giving me the opportunity to um talk about this event that's happening tomorrow. Um, the whole story I will go into with you guys later on as to how the foundation got started. But it started. And so after, and it's been in functioning now for about, I guess, 5 years. But last year we decided to do a legacy brunch and give out scholarships and awards to individuals who um, are striving in business, uh, students to further their education or to buy them some books, whatever we can do. You have the Dodge Foundation, you got the Rockefeller Foundation, you got Thomas Keene's money, who is so old. If you put all our ages together,
All old money.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you put all our
Right.
ages together, but we, Brother Ed and Brother
Mhm.
Baba, we do not keep our legacy of our people going. We do not do it.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you something. I thank God that He moved on my mind to say, listen, your mother was somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Very
And
special.
some little girl needs to know that in the 30s and in the 40s and in the 50s, a black
Yes.
little girl came here that was a domestic, but in spite of, racism, in spite of Jim Crow, in spite of the civil rights movement, she continued to pursue what she knew would help us to do better as women and men by developing our own careers and having our own business.
That's right. That's right.
The only
That's
thing I tell people now that gets in the only reason I'm not a billionaire is because I didn't do what I need to do to be one. It's not
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't know how to become one, because she gave me all the tools. The issue is this: I never saw my mother clean a house. I'm talking about as a domestic. Oh, I seen her clean. We lived in a mansion, but I saw my mother wipe down the kitchen counter and cook and wash her own dishes. But I never saw my mother do what she did to get what she got. The only thing I ever saw my mother and father do was work. So my work ethic is what it is because that's all I ever saw. People want to know how I work so many hours. How do you commit yourself? Because that's all I saw.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I saw my mother get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and have a client waiting for her at her hotel where she had a station when she was at the hotel in case one of her customers needed a quick touch up. So
Mm-hmm.
she didn't just do it at the mansion.
Mm-hmm.
I never saw my mother in bedroom slippers or a house coat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying nothing's wrong with that,
Mm-hmm.
but I just never saw it.
Mm-hmm.
By the time my mother got me up for school, she was fully dressed.
Mm-hmm. Putting in that work. Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
So
Yes.
I'm honored that you let me talk about the second annual brunch. It's only going to get bigger. And when I talked about Keene and Rockefeller and Dodge and all these foundations that build, I am praying because I have a 10-year-old granddaughter who's going to give a speech tomorrow. She wants to give a speech tomorrow. That's
Mm.
why I made it my business to go get her.
Oh, that's what I'm
She
talking
wants to give a little speech
about.
tomorrow. She wants to welcome them. She's 10 years old. I don't know what generation it's going to be. But what I do know is she needs to understand who her great grandmother was and not get caught up. Because I'm going to tell you, if there's all types of distractions out here, I got distracted and had the best parents. But I thank God that that I was able to, everything that I have and everything that I am is only because of what my parents instilled in me. And trust me, I wasn't listening when they was talking. I mean, I wasn't hearing when they was talking, but I was listening.
That's right. That's right. The
I
seeds
had
have
to have
been
been
sown.
listening for me to be where I am today.
Yes, those seeds had definitely been well sown. And I'm gonna tell you, I wish I had been a better seed sower myself. Right? We all can learn from legacies like your mother's. And it's a full day tomorrow. It's crazy. I'm gonna try and pop through, but I'm just so glad that you're doing that, and it speaks to the reclaiming and the revitalization of that space too. And that is important to appreciate. So there's a lot of levels to what's happening with you tomorrow, and we're just proud of you and glad that you're rolling like that. Yeah. Did you hear us? I don't know. Did she freeze again?
No. I think she's back.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we're really proud of you. We're really, really proud of you and the family and that legacy. It is a model. It is a model worth emulating. In terms of how we need to honor our family community legacy. Say it again. And then she froze.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's up in some
Are
mountains
you
area.
guys going to come by tomorrow?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got a march around the same time. We got our Juneteenth reparations march at the same time. But I'm gonna try and stop through on the way
Oh,
in.
that's right.
Yeah, yeah.
See,
I
that's
really want to meet with you
right.
today. I really appreciate what
And
you're doing.
I'm always there, but y'all don't normally do it on Saturday.
Yeah, no, it is. It just happened to fall. The Saturday happened to fall after the 19th this year. That's all. Yeah, so that's why they're doing it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
this
you, but you,
my reception is crazy.
but we're definitely gonna make it through tomorrow, Ralph. You know that we're gonna come through. We're gonna try
I
and be
know,
as
and I pray.
we're
Pray
gonna try we're gonna
we
try.
can't stop saying reparations. We cannot
Mhm.
stop. So somebody said on Facebook about Juneteenth.
She said, yeah.
Celebrate
Yeah, but she's about to bust it up too.
Yeah. But let me say it for her. So tomorrow is going to be the Madam Louise Scott Legacy Brunch. Again, it's going to be tomorrow, June 22nd, Saturday. It's going to be from 11 to 3 p.m. at the Kruger Scott Mansion at 601 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. And the donation is going to be $100 per person. So you could actually go to their website and actually, or you know what, you can call tomorrow. It's going to be 973-926.
All right, before I get off, let me say this real quick while I can get in. We cannot, and I know I'm going to cut off again, we cannot be ungrateful for the progress,
Oh,
for the
yes, ma'am.
sacrifice of you brothers. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
we
Yeah, we
got you.
cannot be ungrateful for the because we have made we're not where we want to be, and we don't have what we need to have. We don't have what we're due. We know all of that. But we've got to be grateful for moving forward and not stopping so we can get what it is. Juneteenth is worth celebrating. What's that statement? People want to celebrate Lincoln freeing the slaves. Somebody told me, I heard it in the atmosphere. Lincoln didn't free the slaves freed Lincoln.
Yeah, yeah, that's
So
true.
so while we talking about those things,
Right.
we're entitled to our reparations. They find
You damn
trillions
right.
of dollars to deliver people out of their bondage financially, whether it's the car industry, whatever it is, they find a way. And we make the money. How about that? Don't we make the
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
money?
Mm-hmm.
Right in the United States of America? Is it the
Mm-hmm.
mint here?
yeah, yeah.
It's just the government don't want us to have it.
Yeah,
Now, whose government? You know, who is government? So the truth is we can't stop talking about reparations. And I thank God. We can't stop talking about the CCRB. We can't stop telling little girls that they can be somebody and that their value is not between their thighs, it's between their ears and their eyes. We can't
Yeah,
stop. We
that's
can't
right.
stop telling our brothers that they're more than street corner pole hanger-oners.
That's right. Absolutely
We've
right.
got to continue to teach our young people these things because if that's not the message we're sending, then the blood is on our hands. And we've got
Indeed,
to
it is.
continue to be the example that my mother left for me, that my father left for me, that Larry Ham is leaving for Imani and all of his children and his grand.
Mm.
That's what
You
we've got to
said
do. Now part, the only part that represents the whole, you know, when y'all call it, y'all know we talk about the legacy. That's what you told me to do. Okay, the Legacy Brunch is happening tomorrow, 11 to 3 at the Cougar Scott Mansion, Martin Luther King Boulevard, my former home and the former home of my mom. I lived there for 23 years. It's going to be a blessing to be on the premises for a second year. I do hold meetings there once a week for the financial empowerment. So I'm involved. There's a library there in honor of my mother that we're going to put contents in. We're looking to reopen the hair salon. There's a good relationship going on at Kruger Scott Mansion. The legacy didn't just die. It isn't just dead. It's a matter of doing and keeping going what was started. I was very young when my mother transitioned. My father got to see me with a different
right.
life,
Yeah.
but my mother
Yes.
left before she could see me stop acting crazy as a 20-year-old. So it's my obligation, not just to the memory and the spirit of my ancestors.
She just knocked herself out, but she made a point. She made a point, and she always does. And I'm very proud she was able to do that. Right?
So Roundtree says she stopped acting crazy when she was 20, Larry. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think it took me longer than that. But bless God.
Yeah, she did better than me.
Me too. I
I
think you
can't even
muted
remember
that,
her
Round.
funny.
We can't hear you.
Yeah. She's
Round,
steady rolling. We can't hear a word she saying.
no,
We'll see you tomorrow. We love you too, man. We love you too, my queen. We will see you tomorrow.
see you tomorrow.
Yes, Lord. Yeah, and it's a shame. I'm
And
proud of
she and
her and
she
all that
and
work.
she said she wanted to be there, Larry. She was saying she just couldn't believe it was on the same day. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right. Yeah, if
That
she
the
did.
march
Yeah, we
was
didn't know. We
going
didn't know
on.
you.
Same day as what? Same day as what?
The
What does
march.
it come?
Tomorrow.
What?
It's tomorrow.
She's
We
doing the
get ready to
battle.
get in the street. She's gonna be up the street in the mansion.
She's doing that
Oh, she's
legacy book
doing something
tour.
in the mansion.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay,
Same
okay.
time. Yeah, at the same time. Yeah.
I didn't know about. I didn't know about that.
yeah.
Yeah. It couldn't be helped. It's just sometimes how those things fall. Yeah. But they'll be all right, and we'll be all right. Because it's what we do.
For sure, for sure.
Those things happen, brother. So Larry, let's talk about it, man. Let's not only let's talk about the march, but let's talk about where we are with regards to um, you know, reparations and it seemed like all of the people who started this thing have all but gone home to be with the Lord. And it seemed like younger people are not really picking up the torch the way that they should to carry that conversation. You know, I mean, when you think about Queen Mother Moore, right, being at the National Black Political Convention, and really was really the standard bearer for that particular conversation. And you think about it now. Uh, Remember the congressman who picked it up, and now the congressman is gone, and he created the bill. You know, sort of like where we are. And I think that you and Ryan pretty much carry it in New Jersey and keep it going. But we don't hear that national conversation other than what's the sister name that was down with Lumumba, Zaid? She keeps it going. Uh, we've had her on the show a couple of times. She's done a book about it. I can't think of this. She's an attorney as well. You muted, Zaid. Natifi, not Natifi something.
And Kichi, you talking about the Kichi Taifa?
Yeah.
Oh, there's some stuff happening on the national front,
Yeah.
right? And there are some things happening with young folks, too. But in terms of veterans carrying it the way it had been carried, the question of reparations is breaking into multiracial spaces. So there's actually growth on the ground in the public. But I was I went on mute because I wanted to find the footage from Adimu's presentation that he did for the county on Wednesday, because he did a stellar history lesson on bringing the whole thing, Juneteenth, reparations, Civil War, all of that. He brought all that together in about 20 minutes. It was a face-pop presentation, right? That brought all that together. So I'm going to post that in a minute. That's what I was. You see, if I go on mute, I'm trying to put that back up because it was strong, it was excellent, right? And we needed a little more of that Wednesday night, but Wednesday night had its own dynamics. It was quite good, right? Yeah. So so go ahead, Ed. Set up the conversation. Let me go ahead and do.
So then, Larry, where I was going is if we could pick it up and talk about it from a historic perspective, right? And then sort of talk about it in terms of, where we are with, those other brothers and sisters who were here that are no longer here now, right? How do we create the momentum that needs to be created politically, right, around that? Because remember, we've been having this conversation in New Jersey now for a couple of years, trying to get them to actually put this on the ballot. So where we are. Did you freeze, Larry?
Well, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Where are we? Well, the generational contradiction that faces the entire movement for social justice affects the movement for reparations too. And all of us have to get generations behind us to, in fact, pick up that issue more. Now, there are a lot of young people doing reparations work. There's just not enough of them. On the national and international front right now, it seems to me that the front runner is Institute for the Black World 21st Century, Ron Daniels. In fact, tomorrow, he is having a international roundtable discussion on reparations. People can plug into remotely. So if you go to the international, what is it called? Institute for the Black World 21st Century website, you can get the phone number or the link to plug into the discussion that he's having tomorrow, I think around 3 o'clock. So Ron Daniels has been moving on a national and international level, adjacent to the Institute for the Black World 21st Century. He created a national African-American reparations coalition. I don't know if that's the exact name, but the formation is that. It's a very broad front. Now, New York State has established a reparations commission. They passed the same type of reparations bill that we've been trying to get out of committee for 4 years. They have passed their reparations bill in New York State and have established their reparations commission, and Ron Daniels is on that commission. I have to commend Ryan Hayden and the New Jersey Institute for Social Justice, for the work they've done in terms of creating the Reparations Council. I think they have really made a major contribution in terms of trying to keep that discussion alive here in New Jersey. And they just had a big event down at the PAC Wednesday night. I think Zaid mentioned that a few minutes ago. They had a huge event. It was very well attended. I would say maybe there were 200 or more people there. And we heard from representatives of most of the panels, not all of the panels that make up that reparations council. So they've done a major contribution in that regard. Tomorrow, POP, we will have a demonstration for reparations, Juneteenth demonstration. It's a rally now. It was a march and rally, but then it hit 100 degrees out here today. So I ain't trying to get any of these old people stretched out on the streets of Newark tomorrow. You know, we gonna stand still, you know, and after we'll go in the back behind the Lincoln statue, that little park there. I think they call it Brenton Park, that's next to the courthouse, and we'll get under the trees and get some shade, because I spoke at the East Orange STEM Academy graduation today. Brother, when I got in my car, the temperature gauge in my car said 100 degrees. I couldn't believe it. The seat was so hot, I couldn't sit on the seat. I had to turn the air conditioner on, stand outside the car for a minute, let the seat cool off. But to answer your question directly, Ed, yes, the reparations movement definitely had a greater momentum 3 years ago. 3 years ago, it seems that the momentum is not gone, but that it is diminished to some degree. I have some theories on this. I have some conspiracy theories, but I'm not going to share them now because I don't want to create further division amongst already divided people. But suffice it to say that the struggle for reparations is going to continue, whether it continues at a high level of visibility or whether it's at a low level, it's going to continue. You know, the struggle for reparations is at least 100 years old. It really picked up momentum when Conyers introduced his reparations bill in Congress in '86. Then it picked up momentum, then it died down. Then Randall Robinson, who had been the head of Trans Africa, who had played a leading role in the anti-apartheid movement in the United States, he switched gears. I mean, all his stuff was Africa. And then all of a sudden, at least it seemed that way, he came out with that book, The Debt, which I think it was in 80s or maybe beginning of the Debt. And I have it around here somewhere. I just don't see it at the moment. That was a key contribution. That really kicked the reparations movement in the high gear.
It broke into the national dialogue for the first time in a long time. Yes.
Yep. And then, you know, then I think Robinson, and then what happened was almost right at that moment, the struggle in Haiti broke out in all of its intensity with Father Bertrand Aristide becoming the candidate for the first true elections. and then that kind of switched the focus away from reparations to the struggle for Haiti, to the struggle for democracy in Haiti, because it was a big struggle to get Aristide elected. And then they took him out and then brought him back, and then took him out again and sent him to Africa. And then Randall Robinson and what's sister California, she reclaimed her time. What's the sister? You know, the black sister in Congress, the sister from California.
Maxine
You
Waters.
muted it. Yes, Maxine Waters. Maxine Waters and company. Yeah, they went to Africa and got Aristide out of Central Republic and then took him to South Africa, and he stayed in South Africa for some years. So that whole struggle around Haiti kind of shifted. And then Ta-Nehisi Coates came back, and he came back with his first an essay that appeared in Atlantic Monthly magazine. And that essay became a whole book dealing with the issue of reparation, and he kicked it into high gear. And then it kind of hit a ebb again. And then what happened? 2020 election, reparations became a key. You know, there was a lot of debate. A lot of people felt Bernie Sanders wasn't strong enough on the issue. They pushing him, finally got him to make a statement and say that, you know, he supported reparations, but there was a lot of smoke, a lot of fire, but a lot of smoke around the issue of reparations in the 2020 election. And then it hit another ebb, and kind of its ebb period now. I think it's gonna pick back up again. It has to, and this is why. California passed their reparations bill before New York, and they have already introduced legislative recommendations from the commission to the legislature. Now, when I say recommendations, these are bills. I think there are 22. It's a package of 22 bills. And we need to look at those bills to see what those bills would do in terms of reparations in California, which I believe is the largest state in the union, right? It has the largest population of all 50 states. So we need to take a look, because I can't speak to it intelligently. I haven't looked at the 22 bills, but those are 22 bills based on recommendations that came out of the Reparations Commission to make restitution to Black people in California, because California was a state that legally supported slavery. So we got California on the West Coast, and now we got New York on the East Coast. They formed their reparations commission. I know Ron Daniels is on it. I don't know who the other members are on it. So with these two commissions actually in effect, at some point, things gonna move back to center stage, because there's gonna be a fight in those legislatures. You know, I would be surprised if those bills, if whatever California is already introduced and whatever New York is getting ready to introduce, if they're introduced into the legislature and then are passed without a fight. I just can feel it in my bones that these are going to be major legislative fights. And then, don't forget, so that's California is 1, New York is 2. What's number 3? Number 3 is the presidential election. Now, right now, we're calling on Biden to form the Reparations Commission by executive order. My understanding is that the executive order is written and people are like, Biden, you got to
Right, when
sign
he
this, and
sign
we're
it.
waiting to see if he's going to sign it. Now, if he signs it, that's going to put reparations back. If he doesn't sign it and go into the election cycle in November, and the Democrats get back the House, they already have the Senate, Black people are going to be saying, we done saved your ass one more time. Where's our reparations bill? Where is it? You know, release it from the committee. You always, promises you're going to do what it is we need done. We need the reparations bill, HR 40, released from committee in the House and released from committee in the Senate, go to the floor for reconciliation, make the bills one bill, and then Biden signs it into law. So we're in a lull right now, but that's temporary because dynamics are already in motion.
And the thing that makes this also different is that, as we said at the top of this conversation, this conversation has broken into national and multiracial space. It couldn't have gotten through California had there not been support from people outside of our community. The reparations question lived in a very possessive and tight-knit way in the Black nationalist community for decades, right? And we never put it down, right? But in order to move forward, it's got to be a central argument in the national conversation on race, and we got to have allies from across the spectrum of the racial makeup of this country. And we're seeing that with the advance of that bill in California, in several other cities too. Boston has a reparations ordinance on the table. Evanston, Illinois has actually tried a micro notion of reparations. That's actually being challenged in court now. Atlanta's trying to figure out a conversation in terms of these cities, right? There are other levels to go to with this, but we are starting to see, and I think this is one of the fruits of protest of the so-called George Floyd summer. A whole lot of white folks, young and not so young, were in those marches, but they also brought a sentiment with them, right? That has them leaning towards reparations, where prior to that, many of them weren't even thinking about something like that. So there is a sentiment among some, not enough yet, but among some folks who are outside of our community to support this whole question. California, interestingly, California was the basis in the background for the Japanese getting reparations many years, not too long ago. And this is back in the Reagan days, right? And there's a whole lot of from the Asian community, particularly the Japanese, that are in support of our struggle by virtue of their own history with that. So it's, we're in an interesting space, and we have to learn how to have these conversations in these different kind of spaces. The organization that I work for, Equal Justice USA, I always nudge them as they talk about community-based violence intervention and restorative justice. I said, the grandmother, all of that is the reparations question, right? And when are we going to come out for reparations? They did it. They did. A national organization with a multiracial character, they did. They haven't gotten out in front of it the way Ryan's in New Jersey for Institute for Social Justice have, but it's another expression of, that this conversation moving into multiracial spaces and moving in a healthy way. And then finally, we need to appreciate the radical roots of this. We've had some folks on from the Uhuru Three who are getting ready to go on trial, right? Penny Hess answered that call that the Uhuru movement made back in the 70s, following Malcolm's line. White folks, you got to do work amongst white folks in the white community on the question of race. Penny Hess got out in front of that on the question of reparations many years ago, and we're starting to see that bubble in these other conversations in other communities, like we saw in California and seeing in some of these cities. So we're at the crossroads, and he's coming back on the. We lost him for a second.
Yeah.
So yes. Well, Dima, as you were going back in and out, I was talking about the radical roots of this multiracial expression.
I heard everything except the last sentence. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
You're
Yeah.
very,
So
very good analysis. Very good analysis. The other thing, the other wild card, and I suspect, based on things that I have been seeing and reading, that the right wing reparations an issue in the what they want to do is, and that's funny, right? Because now we're on, we still have on the side with the right wing.
Go out and come back in.
They're going
to make an important point too.
Have been captured.
Then go out and come back in.
Am I there now? Am I back?
Yeah, go ahead. Well, yeah.
Am I back? I'm not back.
Yes,
okay.
We hear you. Go ahead.
So you say that enough writing is going to.
You was doing well for a minute. Yeah, and
he was.
Yeah.
He was getting ready to bring in the Trump factor on this question. Josiah, stay there. We got you. We're trying to wind him up. And while he's getting back on, 12 noon, we will be at the Lincoln Monument, right, for the annual reparations rally, depending on objective conditions. If it's depending on how hot it is, right, whether or not we'll actually march or not. But for the last several years, we've had very strong Juneteenth reparations marches. I know you're trying to wrap it, but then when you're trying to bring the Trump factor, try it again.
Yeah, I was just trying to say that we say on our side that Biden is not doing enough, but the right wing is going to say that he captured Trump. That Democrats have been captured by the socialists and the communists. And so I would predict that once this thing gets underway after July, when the Republicans have their convention, and August, when the Democrats have their convention, that the Republicans are going to try to drag reparations in the political discourse in a negative way to frighten white voters or solidify their own base. And so I just wanted to make that point.
Yeah, good point. All right, so we will see everybody tomorrow, 12 noon, at the Lincoln Monument. Bring your water, right, or bring whatever you need, right, to take care of yourself. But along with the New Jersey Institute for Social Justice and some 10 other plus organizations that have since endorsed the march, we've always had strong to bring in June 10th with the question of reparations. You'll see everybody tomorrow on that.
Yeah, all right.
All right. See you tomorrow.
All right, man. All right.
Yep.
We are having some connection issues with our elders today.
Yeah.
You look like he in some air conditioned office, got his bow tie on, look sharp, right?
Yes, sir.
We were just talking. It's hard to believe that you have not been on the show yet. All the work you done put in for the Brick City Peace Collective.
That's okay. I understand, brother. You got a huge waiting list.
Yeah. Well, that notwithstanding, you definitely needed to be on. This is a pivotal time for community violence intervention work all around the country with the change of the seasons, the end of school and all everything that comes with that. Not enough programs of an economic kind for our young folks working, and all those things that threaten to create spikes in the violence we're trying to check, right?
Yes, sir.
But as a teaching platform, let's take a step back. Tell everybody exactly what the Brick City Collective is and what it does, and let's talk about what we got coming up for this season.
Yes, sir. So, Brick City Peace Collective is an ecosystem of public safety. Our work is to reduce violence in the city of Newark and to build capacities with the organizations we work with. So, I'm pretty sure most of us are familiar with the Office of Violence Prevention, and the work that they do is very grounds on to supporting victims and people that have faced violence, gun violence in their everyday life. You have the Office of Violence Prevention that do first responding. In Brick City Peace Collective, we represent the ecosystem of public safety. So there have been organizations that have been doing this work for a long time. Case examples, Newark Anti-Violence Coalition, you have North Street Academy, you have a bundle of organizations that have been doing this work in the early 2000s, and some even prior, before that. The mayor's initiative was to form an ecosystem that allows all of us to work together. So you have organizations that do credible messenger that responds to a shooting, that responds and goes to the hospital. You have organizations that work in education. You have organizations that do youth mentorship. You have organizations that do trauma therapeutic services. So Brick City Peace Collective act as a catalyst that keeps all of these organizations together. So we do a lot of shared information. We're data informed. We talk about how to respond to the data that is happening and how we pull resources, whether it's in the South Ward, West Ward, Central Ward, East Ward, or North Ward. And that's pretty much how Brick City Peace Collective work in that conjunction. What we're doing and what we have planned upcoming, we have the Safe Summer Academy, where we're working with the at-risk population of young people. And our summer youth employment looks different, where we are not only giving them opportunities to make money during the summertime, but we're accompanying them with social emotional learning. It's a different program that tackles our young population who are in the streets and offering them just a different capacity of organizing. We can't just give them work when they have at risk, when they have things that they're facing at home. So they're accompanied with social workers that's going to be a caseload with them at the same time. At the same time, they're making funding money opportunities. So we're very holistic in our approach about how we're helping our young people. And before I pass the mic back, I just want to say in 2014, when the mayor first came in, there were over 400 young people that were arrested in the city of Newark. To this date, that number has dropped drastically down to less than a little over 200 young people. And I say that as a big feat to say that the mayor's focus has been to stop criminalizing our young people, stop arresting our young people, but to ensure that we have programs for them. And on top of that, 90% of the young people that are arrested are Black youth. So what we've done and what the administration has done has been to target and to make sure that when you see a North Street Academy, it is not, it's a second way out for our young people to make sure that we put programs and initiatives and we're really supporting them. And we're just not arresting them and just leaving them alone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Indeed. Now we've got something that's just popped up that we really haven't had a chance to talk about. And we should say some words about it. We have with the advent of summer, there's been the advent of a curfew, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a curfew with some different wrinkles, right? Would you care to enlighten some of our folks who don't understand how this particular curfew looks with our ecosystem?
Yes. Well, based on the data of what we saw, most of the violence that's happening is after 11 o'clock, and specifically it's with our young population. So we saw it best to enact a wellness team that can respond to our young people to ensure that they are safely guided home, and at the same time too that they can have resources given to them. We've already had a few young people that we've taken in and that needed additional support. The goal and concept is that if that you have a 13-year-old, a 14-year-old, 15-year-old walking home or let me just not walk in the streets after 11 o'clock p.m., what are you doing? Where are you going? And if you need a ride home, we'll definitely escort you home. However, what we saw is that some of them need additional resources. Regardless of our views on what we think, no child should be 13, 14, 15 years old and just walking the streets without the parents' awareness. So we're putting that responsibility, more so actually accountability, back on the forefront of the parents' minds. Not parents' minds, but just showing the community that's just trying to support them. This is no means and arresting our young people, but supporting them. And that's the beauty of what we are doing in the Office of Violence Prevention in conjunction with the Brick City Peace Collective, is to support our young people from a holistic approach. It is not to think about public safety of how we tend to think about it from a legal matters, but to support them in the best of manners.
Mm-hmm. Dad, you get ready to say something, man?
No.
Okay. Yeah. And the thing that we want to keep very clear in this, we're talking about, the public and public safety, the public and public, right? And how those two streams of institutional resources need to come together to help the community in a community-based way address these particular problems, right? Yeah. So what else is coming down the pike this summer? We've got some traditional items that take place like 24 hours apiece. What else is coming down the pike this summer that folks can look forward to?
Well, let me say something. In the year, because a lot of times we talk about being data informed in the city, and I don't want to name drop blocks, but in the South Ward, West Ward, Central Ward, and in the Southwest and Central, we have 2 blocks. I'm gonna just use one block for example. We have one block that has had 8 aggravated assaults and 1 homicide on it. So we're gonna be outside. We're gonna be doing community walks. We're gonna make sure that we're out in the communities in the top risk areas. So when we start to say data informed decisions, and because I think sometimes we speak over and not giving a clear understanding, I'm talking about blocks that had over 8 aggravated assaults and a homicide. That's where we're going to be. That's what our intentions is, to be in these areas that are in the South Ward, West Ward. I'm not saying that any of these other areas haven't experienced that, but specifically South 15th and Madison Ave. That's where we're going to be. That's the aim. South 15th and 14th Ave. We're going to be in these areas that have experienced violence and to offer them resources. So the aim and objection is to make sure that we support people that have experienced violence at the same time too. It's not normal to have these things happen in your city, in your block, and think that it's okay. These things aren't normal. So we're here to unnormalize these things of what we think is normal and to really address these, really put this in front of the people. So, but besides that, there are 24 hours apiece. We have the Safe Summer Academy with our young people, and our partners are doing some incredible things. We're going to be launching and promoting the Safe Summer initiative from the city side and from our partner side, so that way we get to see what our partners are doing, our community partners who do public safety work is doing as well. And I'm going to also drop this online, so that way we have access to the ecosystem of the partners that do public safety work, from youth mentorship to therapeutic services, online via our website, so that way you can learn more about it or see what type of resources are in our city's ecosystem.
Yeah, you're welcome to drop all of that in the chat so we can put it up. I put some of it up. I may put my hands on all of it as we've been talking. That now, since you've been in the space that you're functioning on, right? I mean, this work has moved very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Past several years. What's your take on how the work has progressed and the challenges that we still face and the supports that we still need?
When I say this work has moved so fast, it is it requires leadership to grow. And if leadership does not take mentorship, if I don't take no coaching, if I don't listen to my pioneers, rather I'm in trouble because it is growing so fast because there is a need. And over the past 4 years since COVID, the US have averaged over 600 mass shootings. Gun Violence Archive gave us that data, and you can fact check it if you want to. In 2019, we had less than 600. In 2018, we've actually, I think before 2018, we've averaged as a nation less than 400 mass shootings. So this is not a Newark, New Jersey problem, but this is a national problem when it comes to gun violence. But something is getting peeled back when we start to unravel the root condition of what America mental psyche is. So at the same time, too, you have violence prevention, you have credible messenger, and this work is opening up. So now there's a national support with this work. And because there's a national support with this work, it's opening up so much for those of us that have been doing this work for a long time. They have some funding. And why shouldn't we be funded for this work of what we're doing? Why shouldn't these organizations be funded for the work that they're doing to help make this nation safer, to help the people that have been struggling for such a long time? So you look at a city like Newark, New Jersey, and I was sharing this earlier to someone. Newark, New Jersey was pound for pound considered one of the most dangerous cities to live in at one point. It made news articles. It was, where you from? From Newark. Oh, snap. It was like, you from where? Yeah, I'm from Newark. And you know how we say Newark, right? Yeah, Newark. I'm from Newark. And now you have this same city known as a safe haven. You have this same city known as a public safety model. How did it happen? It didn't happen overnight. It happened the investment. And yes, this work has happened before Mayor Baraka's administration. But man, when this man became mayor, credit has to be given. He poured the investment into organizations by first saying this: violence is a public health issue. So when we came and did that and supported the organizations doing this work, we took this thing to the next level. So and it's an abstract thing to say, Brick City Peace Collective, you can't really see us when we say that we're an ecosystem. But when you come, maybe one of the things we should do is have a public open house ecosystem meeting where people can see the totality of what our meeting looks like in the fullness. I think maybe that's something we should do, because now when we say that there's a public safety ecosystem, this is you have to coordinate 50, there are over 50 organizations in this ecosystem that do public safety work. So we have to support each other. We have to be data informed. We have to know how many homicides have we had year to date? How many aggravated assaults? How many domestic violence incidents have we had over in the city from January up till today? So all of these things have to be accounted for. And guess what? It's not to say that Brick City Peace Collective is going to do it all. It's not to say Office of Violence Prevention is here to do it all. It's here to say those that have been inspired and have the inspiration to go out and serve their community. So this work is a facet, because now, even in 2021, we really wasn't talking about a lot of things early on. So our data has been so much more inclusive, to include domestic violence, aggravated strangulations. And these things are so important topics because we weren't talking about all these things. So now we have to open the net up more to make sure that we reach out to all these services, not to say that OVP is going to do it all. Man, the mayor going to do everything. That's not real. But to the organizations, people in our communities, hey, I love the city of Newark, but I can't do all this by myself. So it's going to take a collective. It's going to take a us, we. So in the word community, you have the word common. Well, what is the common goal? A safe city. In the word community, you have this word unity. In the root word of unity, you have uni, which means one. And that common goal is to have zero homicides, zero violence. Oh man, I said something crazy, didn't I? Yeah, that's a big goal. And that's the goal that we're striving for. I want a safe city. I'm not trying to pass on violence to my generation, to my children. What? Yeah, I want to pass this on. What? Violence. No. Our goal is to have zero homicides in the city of Newark. So we lost this year, but next year, 2025, that's what we're aiming for. And we're going to keep aiming for it. So I understand it's going to take some time, but damn it, I'm going to make sure I do it all. Yeah. And it's like, that's the type of, so when we look at, actually, National League of Cities had a peer exchange in Baton Rouge, and Baton Rouge has taken on an ecosystem too. Yeah. From the example of the national model that we have in the city of Newark. So other cities are watching what we're doing because we are doing a we model, a us model. So other cities are watching us and what we do, and other national partners who do violence prevention work is coming to the city of Newark to support us, and at the same time to take what we're doing and pass it on. I'm sorry, I went on a little spiel.
That's all right. That's because we needed to do that. And we want to, build that up because some real concrete things have happened, right? That we have done, and we need to appreciate this. When we talk about the public and public safety, we're talking about taking these matters into our own hands, right? And doing most of this work, right, outside of the old box. And what was the old box? Call the police for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And when we come out of police relationships, where a lot of us can't call the police for anything, right? So what has been driving down Newark's confrontation with violence to 60-year lows. We didn't come up with those studies, right? The world of social science did that, right? That is the work that we have done.
Yes, sir.
On our own with these resources. Aside from the police. Now, there is a need for a relationship, a parallel relationship where each knows and honors and respect each other's lanes of operation, right? But this work is overwhelmingly done by community for community.
That's right. It is not the police responsibility to handle our young people. They're our responsibility. So when they're doing things that are out of a course, that's law breaking, that's our responsibility to handle them. It is not for the authorities, because when the authorities get hands of them, they're going to handle it how they handle it. And naturally, we don't want that. So we have to break this false. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of us are scared to deal with our young people. That is very true. Some of us are. They are. They don't want to deal with them. We want to talk about them from a distance. Oh, I don't like their music. They pants too tight. We want to keep that distance away. And there's such a need of guidance. They need a brother Edward. They need a brother Zaid in their life. And we have to create the space for our young people to not only listen to you, to hear the stories of what you've gone through and how you've been able to overcome, but we can't gatekeep. And, we have to teach our young people to make sure that they respect our pioneers. And at the same time, too, we have to make sure our pioneers are listening to what this new growth of wisdom that's coming from our young people. So we have to break this barrier that, ageism comes in to play. So we have to we have to connect. We have to get out this silo mentality. And I think that's the success of this ecosystem. It's also our challenge. I'm not saying it's not hard. It's hard because the big head, that big old, I don't need to listen to nobody starts talking. And when that energy and attitude is present, it is the hardest thing to overcome the mentality of distrust. And there's entirely too much distrust in this ecosystem, in this communities all throughout the nation. So we have to overcome these things. Hey, we got to talk about this. We got to talk about racism. These things it's like, what? We have to talk about this. And this was a real learning gap. I messed up and I had a North Fort town hall. I did it in English, but I promoted it in Spanish. Mark from MBK had to check me on that. Hey, yo, Josiah, you can't. I'm okay. I needed that feedback. I didn't know I was in the right. Good intentions can lead you to hell. So the intentions was right, but it threw it off with the wrong, not assessing and not evaluating a thing. So we have the
You haven't said that. Now wait a minute, Josiah. Now let's build on your point. Your example is a real point, is a real example, and you have a town hall meeting coming up that corrects the code. So when is that happen?
Exactly. And I wanted to thank our brother. We have that June 28th at Central High School in Spanish, hosted by NPSC, our brother, Dr. Alex, who's going to facilitate that conversation. So, the correction is made. And I'm being open like that to say that when we talk about collaboration, when we talk about coming together, the challenge is the distrust of not wanting to come together. So there has to be a huge accountability piece for us in this work. We have to be able to take some of this grunt of how we want instant gratification. I understand we want to be supported in the best manner because we want to see a thing, but no, because I want to see a thing, but it's us. So there's a lot of things that we have to overcome in this. So we have the One Hood model that is coming together. We have the Newark Peace Agreement model that is coming together. And there are so many things to overcome, but it is through these processes, it is through these models that the roughness of it, that the more we keep sanding at that wood, the more smooth the wood gets to the point where it's a fine board. So, and I'm just giving that realness to it, that we're dealing with people. And brother Edward, I came from a big family. There were times, man, I was the man at my household, but sometimes none of them like me. You ever got a fault with your brother? I fought with this sibling, that sibling. I said something to my mom, she didn't like it. I said something to my pops, and I said, damn, I got to eat with these guys. I said, damn, I was at the dinner table, and I was like, hey, I got to eat. So the reality is that when you deal with people, sometimes it's just a ruffle, and it's okay. It happens. And if we can just come back to that dinner table and talk about the things that made us discomfort, then, that's just real conversation, but you got to eat. You got to sit at that dinner table.
So I think the question I want to ask is, what does the community outreach look like, right? Because I can remember, I can go way back, so, when I was a young man in the Nation of Islam at 12 years old, junior FOI, that whole outreach for us, what it was back then was that, I can remember getting up on a Saturday morning, and we used to have projects in Newark on Howard Street and Mercer Street and, all those projects. And we used to get up early in the morning. We'd go to FOI class. Once we left FOI class, we'd go and we hit the streets. And the streets for us is that back then we had Whitey, H&G, Muhammad Speaks, and, and so forth. And today you guys are dealing with something, when you talk about violence. I remember Minister Hawk was talking about a couple of years ago, trying to implement this whole idea of conflict resolution, right? And so the question I've got then based around that, what does outreach look like in the community today, versus what we did, right? We did that on a Saturday morning, and our goal when we went out, we were selling pies, we were selling bean pies, But Mr. Muhammad's goal for us was, as FOI, was that we were trying to fish men to the mosque for a Sunday meeting or for a Wednesday night meeting in order for them to hear something that was black and something that was conscious and that we thought was good for them. And we hoped that it would be that they would agree that it was good for them too, and then join the Nation of Islam. Not everybody's going to do that, right?
Uh-huh.
But what is it that you all are doing based around, the resources that you all have based around community outreach?
Let me first say, that's the best outreach, brother, right there. That door-to-door campaign. I'm gonna first say there is no difference.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir. I'm trying to hold myself back because I want to jump all in that. But go ahead.
What was done in the 80s and 70s should be the same thing done today. The reality is you can't escape people. So that door-to-door campaign is the same initiative that should be done when it comes to going after our people. If we're talking about giving them resources, we have to be amongst the people. And I would say what makes this different is social media. What makes this difference is a media platform. So just like you have to have a door-to-door campaign, man, you got to have a good social media campaign. So it's just an additional bonus, but we've become lazy in that being on social media, but not being in front of people. So when we say, let's go outside, that energy goes down. So I would say, as far as the community engagement piece, on our side, it's the same thing. It's door-to-door campaign. It's going in front of our people. This is why we have community walks. This is why we do listening campaigns. We're in a good position in a sense of what we haven't saw last year. However, and still, we can lose the momentum. And that's the thing. We lose the momentum and not going and I understand some of us have soldiered long and hard. But the race is not to the quick, swift, strong, but to those that have endured. And we have to be motivators to each other. We have to push that inspiration. So, man, when I say we got to be outside, we got to be outside talking to people. So I'm not acknowledging no difference of what happened. It's the same model. I don't want to change. I want to be outside. I don't care if it's 90 degrees. We can soldier with a suit and bow tie in the 90s, brother. I don't.
Yeah, we've done that. I people used to say back in the day that FOI don't sweat, brother. You know what I mean? We just work. But
that's right.
But the issue that you hear today from a lot of parents, when because you alluded to it when you said that some of our elders are afraid of these young people, right? Are they, because remember, are they receptive to you all when you're out there, in terms of listening to the conversation, in terms of hearing a conflict resolution conversation, or talking to them about what resources are available? Because, I've got nieces and nephews who are teenagers who are early in their 19, 20 now, but they're hearing different conversations. And like you said, it's about, they're media driven, right? They got social media. We didn't have social media. You guys have that. So when you talk about being lazy and you talk about, these guys not really wanting to come outside, they want you to text them, right? They want you to IG them, right? They don't really want to come out and say, let me shake Brother Josiah's hand. Let me hear what Brother Josiah got to say. How are you guys able to engage them in that way? Because you can say you outside. That's a slick slogan, right? Where you at? I'm outside, man. That's slick.
Yeah, you're right. I'll say I won't. There has to be attraction power. There has to be attraction power. And let me say, it's not that young people are not receptive to those of us that want to help, but there is a fickle in them too. I don't want to say fickle. They're easily damaged. So if you say you're going to do a thing and don't do that thing, then that becomes harmful to them because you've broken that trust. So they are the example that's in front of them. So the trust has to be built up. So it takes time. So here we are, and we get a caseload via the Office of Violence Prevention from those that come in first contact with the police. They get referred to OVP, and OVP refers them out to the ecosystem in Brick City Peace Collective. So we have to warn our partners in that whatever they say they're going to do, they have to do it.
Right.
Because if we break that trust, then we're only going to do harm to them and create recidivism and them doing something illegal again and again. Right. So similar to us with the Safe Summer Academy, we have to not only, hey, you know, they're on us one about making sure that they get paid, and naturally we're going to take care of them. Right. But it's, you can just see the effects of not those who have come before them have been thieves and robbers. And this is how that street game works out with some of them that are in some of these, whether they're stealing cars. They got people, older people that's over them, making the money and giving them a small portion of it. So there's a lot of things at their level that they have to be so aware of. Oh, yo, he's trying to run game on me. So they're aware of these things because they're dealing with people that have come with false intentions. So to your point about how do we deal with our young people, we have to be well adept in dealing with them. This is a young man's, this is, if you don't know nothing about gaming, if you don't know nothing about anime, if you're not relatable, you got to be a little relatable to a degree. Like, yo, look, is that what Goku would do? Let me stop.
And
yeah, underneath all that too, I mean, this notion of credible messages needs to really be understood because it drives the car, right? Ed is talking about, you know, a movement centered, you know, the nation was the first, were the first credible messengers as an organization, right? I'm trying to bring Malcolm into this whole, you know, national conversation, getting ready for his centennial, as one of the fathers of credible messages. So folks see this line of history that we have to honor. And there are two dimensions to being a credible messenger. One, you've been where they're going, right? So you have credibility on the streets, but then you also have the credibility of being trustworthy, right?
Exactly.
Of coming through with those resources and those supports as you say you are. And
we don't specify the moral intentions of that second point right there. You have to have character in this. This is kind of what brought my affinity into politics, is that normally if you've always associated as someone that's in politics as a public servant, you have to serve. Look at that, one who serves. You know what servant means? He's not in this for the glory of his name to be seen of men. He's in this work to help people. And that's the most important thing about being, man, am I trustworthy? Am I trusting? Am I honest? And those characteristics are emanated, not just, you don't see honest, trust, it emanates in your aura. Those are emanating feats that our young people are looking at. That people in general, you have your own atmosphere when you have someone of, oh man, she has a good character. How do you tell? It's just something about her. But a lot of us lie.
Yeah,
you know that bigger than me.
We need more time, but I just want you to address 2 points quickly, and then sum up whatever in any way you want as we
yes, sir.
I want you to tell folks where your office actually is and what that means as a beacon of transformation in the work.
Our office is located at 1017th Ave, Newark, New Jersey, formerly the 1st Precinct in Newark, formerly a police office, formerly.
Ain't that where they took John Smith and beat the caca out of him back in 67?
If you visit it today, it won't look like what it used to look like.
Yeah.
And we're still remodeling. We're still trying to create an atmosphere of this being a healing center. And like, just look at the words healing, trusting. This is what we're trying to establish, not only this space, but the community. We have to have a community we love. Like, we have to have a community that I just feel, man, I love coming outside. I love, I can ride a scooter all throughout the city and just love it. So the things that we're doing, love, peace, happiness, I want you have to feel those things. We're people of feel, like we are people and we have emotions. And to feel safe, to feel secure in your community is one of the best feelings and best mentalities to ever have. So this is just the type of environment that we're trying to establish. We're not perfect, but we're learning. And this is the fast growth of what public safety is looking like in the nation. We're overcoming something that has been before us. So it's not an easy feat.
And that
It's a great feat to overcome.
That's why they lock us up and gave us mass incarceration, because they said we would never overcome it, but we are. Right?
Yes, sir.
And what I wanted to make is that this is all also driven through what we call a trauma-informed lens, and the space that we are in now with BCPC was a trauma center, creating harm, well-known, feared, or well-known around the country, and one of the most feared places to be locked up when snatched up by Newark police, when Newark police was at its harmful worst, right? To now becoming a place where folks are getting real help in concrete terms, and with concrete services. And that is in fact transformation. And one of the things that has happened in the last few years is that we just had Lawrence Hammond from the People's Organization for Progress. Every anniversary of the uprising, there's a march to the precinct, right? Well, the precinct is no longer the precinct. Now we get greeted by folks in the ecosystem doing this work, to try and bring the two streams of movement together. The protest movement that created us being able to take power like City Hall and then get access to these resources, and then using the space, having those resources and actually trying to transform people's lives. These stats didn't come out of the sky, right? These stats came from real engagement and real work. So we need more time with you. I know we got to get ready for the next segment. Ed, you want to ask him the ritual question?
I do. So, Josiah, this is your first time on the show. So I don't know if anybody who's been here told you what we're getting ready to ask you. So you're a young man. So tell me, while you doing this work, what music motivates you? What hip hop artist motivates you? I mean, obviously, we may not, be as into some of that young music that you might be listening to, but tell me what you listening to that motivates you.
Oh man. Well, I listen to a lot of music, so I'm not limited. I listen to classical jazz. I listen to drill music. Drill music. No, I gotta keep it real. Like, I grew up with drill music first popped out. Chief Keef, I don't like it, came out and I loved it because it was my era. And when you listen to a G Herbo now and how he's changed and how he's even talked about post-traumatic stress disorder, when I listen to my young artists that are the same age as me, and I'm hearing how you have Little Baby, you have him talking about making a change in his community, to me, it speaks volumes because they're overcoming things that was before them and that hindered them. And I know some of us can listen to their music and say, nah, man, but it's still this. It is, but it's not because of the growth and the maturity of how they've changed and how they're changing their music and trying to do things positive. So I can't feel the same way that, oh man, I can't believe, and it has been used as a tool. I don't disagree with that. But when I think about a G Herbo and how he's met the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and how he's talked about changing his music, I'm with him 100%. And I see how Chicago's changing because of that new era that they pushed in. I see 2 comments about, is there something to commemorate the history there? There is something that we are working on, and to be more intentional with that, Mr. Brother Baba Zaid, Brother Edward, we would love to see how we can do something more intentional and actually be a part of how we are going to dedicate a museum to the first precinct. That is something that is in planning. It's still in planning mode about this being a museum as well. So that is the goal. Much of the history in the city is being solely or overly erased to make tourists and outsiders feel more comfortable. I really don't have much to say on that. We're doing our best to keep the history, but should there be other museums in the city of Newark that talks about our history, I definitely don't disagree with that. We definitely should strive for that. Keep our narrative up.
So let me just be clear. So you saying Chief Keef is
No, I was talking about when Chief Keef first dropped, I Don't Like, that was like my era of music. Love so and then no. I'm so sorry.
I know the song, but what are you listening to now?
I listen to
like what gets you through? What's motivating you now?
Do you know the minister got songs?
Yeah.
I listen to his songs. I listen to classics. I got Michael Jackson on my phone. I got dang, you about to have me pull out my playlist. I'm listening to a lot of soul music, right? And this type of work that I'm doing, you know, I gotta listen to some things that's gonna keep my mind settled.
That's right.
I listen to Stevie Wonder. I listen to J. Cole. Might delete later. I'm balanced. I'm universal. I'm listening to J. Cole right now. I'm listening to classical. So I'm keeping it balanced.
Yeah.
That's right. Meek Mill was in town with the governor on Juneteenth, and that's a whole nother conversation.
He dropped something, I think 5 a.m. in Philly. I listened to that song. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, the governor just signed the
he did that too. I'm sorry. I thought he was on mute.
We're gonna be lifting that up next week. We'll have a big conversation on that next week. But yeah, you know, I mean, folks change. That's the whole thing. People can change. I wasn't born
we grow.
I was out of my African mind when I was a young man. I was dangerous. Going on the fast track to hell in prison. Right, no doubt about it. But you know, but we change.
I'm sorry. I can't say I like Chief Keef in this suit and bow tie. I let you know I'm real, brother.
Hey, brother Josiah, I remember when he came out, brother, and drill music was. I mean, I was like, well, you know, my son likes to call it kill music. He don't call it drill music, you know. But I remember when it first came out, man, I was just like, wow, what is that? You know?
I think I was in 8th, 7th grade.
Okay.
You gotta listen to something.
Yeah, I hear you. But I'm glad that it didn't have the effect on you that it had on some of those young people. In fact, I think we may have even had them on the show. Now that I think about it, 15 years ago when we started this, I think we may have had him on. He came on because we had another brother from Chicago who came on as well, and I think he had brought him on because we wanted to talk about his music because it was our first level of understanding around drill music because we were, we were a political show. But glad to see that he's evolved, man.
If you could find that archive one, that would be a great replay.
Okay,
sure would.
Yeah. We'll go back. We got 15 years of content, so we can go back and find some of that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, my brother. We appreciate you being on, brother Josiah. Thank you. This will be your last. It's your first time, brother, but we look forward to having you back.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you, my brother.
Alhamdulillah.
All right, so we segue now. Our next guest is up. It should be although it's his first time on our airways. I think is Dr. McIntosh. Is this your first time on our airways with us?
No.
On All Politics? Is this first time, Ed?
I don't think so. I think brother probably been on. We've been around here 15 years. He may have been on at some point. I can't remember.
Well, but certainly to the greater New York area's African community, he is no stranger to any of us. He's been one of the drivers of one of very important organizations that has been fighting for the protection of our dignity and our image with the legendary organization that is CEMOTAP, the committee to eliminate all images offensive to African people. And we've got a fresh wave of some very offensive images that I don't think any of us anticipated, given so much history that we have and so much that we thought we kind of got over. But we got a fresh wave of some crazy stuff that definitely needs to be put in check. Back in the 70s, there was a wave of shows that have become what we call classic sitcoms, right? And one that was very popular in the Black community was this Chicago-based sitcom called Good Times, right? And it's, going through a whole appreciation in cable TV land and whatnot. But underneath that emerges something a bit more sinister that ain't nothing good about it. And that's why we're bringing Dr. James on to talk about it. But so tell us, Dr. James, welcome to the show. Welcome to All Politics are Local, right? And appreciative of the motion of the organization and all our forces on the issue. But tell us for the benefit of those that don't know, tell us just what this whole thing is about. What has happened to Good Times as we knew it and as we now know it, or should know it? Yeah, you're muted, Dr. Mac. We can't hear you. We still can't hear.
No, yeah, he
muted himself. He's having some issues.
Maybe you need to go out and come back in again.
Yeah, he just muted himself again. Yeah. Dr. Mac, do this. Go back out, come back in, and as you come back in, check your mic as you come back in, and you should be okay.
Yeah, check your sound. Yep.
Yeah, as he does
Were you
that.
With someone else on, Zaid? There's another brother.
He has to get and that brother is coming in from Chicago because his campaign is a national campaign. That should be Brother Kwabena.
Right? Yep, he's back there too.
Yeah, but we can bring them both in.
Okay.
I didn't have Kwabena's email. All right. Kwabena, stay right there. There you go. We got you. Okay. All right. Dr. Matt, how's your sound now, Doc? We still can't hear him.
Yeah. When he come in, he got to check his mic when he come on. You know what I mean? Like when he click on, they ask him to check his mic.
Yes, exactly. Yes, I was trying to say that. Right. Yeah. Kwabena, tell us where you're coming in from.
I'm coming in from hot Gary, Indiana.
Gary. Now, what's your now? You from Gary? You from Chicago?
No, actually, I was born from Africa, of course, but I was born in Los Angeles.
Okay, I got you all over the map, right? Because I'm seeing you in Chicago, and I'm seeing you in Gary. I thought you were from Chicago all this time.
Chicago's Gary. Gary is nothing but a ghetto suburb, a struggling ghetto suburb of Chicago. Yeah,
as we bring Dr. Mac back, tell us how you got first tell everybody the name of your show, because you got your own show. You've been putting in some work on this front for a minute too.
Yeah, I got a show. It's called A Weekly Wrap Up: Conscious Hip Hop and Classic Funk with Mellow Extension, and we've been rolling for like 25 years at the station here in Gary, Indiana, where we try to give the people the music that makes them think, music that the artists love them and concerned about them, and just uplifting music and rap music. There's plenty of it still being made today that goes against this abnorm of the ratchetness that's out there so much today for our people. So we give them some of the conscious hip hop.
Now, I want you to know that one of the arms of this particular show, particularly over the last couple years, is that this show has been lifting up the Gary Convention, the epic history of the 72 Gary Convention. For all its pluses and all its minuses, it was an important point of us trying to really forge a united front to try and get some things done at a very pivotal time in our history. So we it's good to have somebody fresh from Gary in this conversation. Dr. Mac, how's your sound now? Oh man, we still can't hear him. Oh,
I wonder if it's headphones.
I don't know what. All right, now we're gonna blame that on the COINTELPRO. That's So Kwame, we got you. While we got you, right? Tell us how you got wind of this whole thing with this Good Times reboot,
Oh,
and how,
Dr. Ray Winbush, we're like social media friends, and he shared it in
okay,
March, and then we looked at it and was like appalled. And it wasn't just us. When we looked at it and were appalled, it was so many other people who were looking at it and were appalled. Really, people don't like this. They don't want this. It's so horrible. So yeah, I saw what he had shared, and I looked at the trailer. And then immediately, of course, we got a hold of Dr. McIntosh and CEMOTAP concerning this issue. And we'd already been working together with this dealing with this ratchet, violent, pornographic, kill Black people music. But the difference is here is that the people were so much against this animation of Good Times, this ratchet, again, beyond minstrel animation of Good Times. The people do not want it, did not want it. They don't like it. There's been so many pundits and newspaper articles. Even Whitlock and Stephen A. Smith are agreeing on this, that this is horrible. It's just horrible. And one of the things that shows how horrible it is, if you look at the people who, like today, I mentioned that we were going to be on with the CEMOTAP forum tomorrow, following up on our work to deal with this issue. And after I got off the radio here in Gary, somebody called in and said they liked it. They said they feel that it was that it's good. So they're one of the close to 8,000 people now who give it a thumbs up. The trailer, there's 8,000 people like that, but there's 80,000,
right?
Nearly 80,000 who gave it a thumbs down.
Yes, yes.
So the people, it's a 10-to-1 ratio of people who don't want this crap and people who do want it. And that ratio was the same before they released it in April, but yet Netflix released it anyway.
Yeah, yeah. Talk about it. Let's unpack it. Who was doing this production work, right? And how did this become something so almost unrecognizable? I mean, that's how. And just me with my old eyes, right, and putting all four of them together, right? This stuff I don't recognize. This don't look nothing like what we had back, and I think the show ran from like 72 to about 78, right? It looks nothing like that. I mean, it's not even. You call it a remake? Is that what it really is, or is it something far more intentionally different and sinister?
Sinister, that's a good word for it. And it actually started in '74 because it's the 50th anniversary of when the show actually came out.
That's right.
And it's definitely sinister. And they're in the same apartment that the Evans were in, James in Florida and JJ and Thelma and Michael were in, that Janet used to come visit, and and Walona was there. Same apartment that they moved out of before the show was ended. They were moving out of there. Apartments that have been torn down and gentrified, that are just northwest of downtown Chicago. Mm-hmm. So the Cabrini Green high rises don't exist anymore. They're two lower level places there, and no, it's horrible. It's like, we kick it off. They kick off the show with them singing the theme song with a roach. A roach is in the shower with the daddy singing the theme song, and they think the water gets cut off.
Wow.
And then there's another episode where the water won't stop, and so there's a flood in the apartment, and the roaches are also swimming on empty beer cans. They're arguing with the landlady, who's supposed to be like Bookman, but this is Tisha Campbell playing her, and she starts singing because Tisha Campbell's a good singer. She starts singing the old theme song. She starts singing as she leaves, "Keeping Your Head Above Water." There's the 2-year-old baby drug dealer who got kicked out the house by the daddy, who's snuck in the house to go visit the mama, and she has to give him a gun, put the gun in his diaper to him to protect himself and his drug turf out there. Where they got 3 rappers known as Da Baby, Lil Baby, and Baby Baby, the baby from New Orleans, that are struggling with the little 2-year-old baby for drug turf, and they shoot at him. They unleash a barrage of bullets at him, and then they're showing riding around the neighborhood, 3 of them looking for him, like Boys in the Hood or something. And this is what's shown on animation, on a cartoon, and the people don't like it. The people said no. This is too far. This is crazy.
Who was participating in this? You mentioned Tisha Campbell, right? Who's become a star from Newark, New Jersey, too, by the way. Right? Who became a star with Martin Martin Lawrence's show years ago in the '90s, right? Who else is participating in this thing?
You said who else is participating in it?
Yes.
Oh well, JB Smoove, and there's other actors that people are saying that are really really good actors and comedians and what have you, but they all should be ashamed of themselves. But
Mm.
they even got Bernadette Stanis and Jimmy Walker, whose birthday is today, as a matter of fact, and to do some voiceovers. But Bernadette said she didn't realize what she was getting into because she's
Okay. Good for
already
her.
dogged out this remake
Good for
and
her.
didn't realize it was as bad as it was going to be. So, and there's others. I mean, when we think about who's really behind it, Sony Pictures, um, the Seth MacFarlane, and Dr. McIntosh is, he talks about. I hope we can get his audio because he talks about
Yeah.
Seth MacFarlane's past, and I
So
talked to him
like you're
about
still struggling with
one
it.
day watching NFL action on a Sunday on Fox television and fell asleep on the second game. You know how we do sometimes. We fall asleep. We wake up, the game's over with, and the next show was on. And that next show was Family Guy. And I woke up to a depiction of Harriet Tubman in that dress that she always has on, with the
Oh,
white woman draped across her.
oh,
And that was supposedly Gwyneth Paltrow doing Harriet Tubman. And I was appalled right away. And I tried to figure out who it was and found out, oh, that's Seth MacFarlane. That's Seth MacFarlane disrespecting our untouchable Harriet Tubman. You don't do that. And so hopefully these chickens are coming back home to roost on his tail for doing that to her, and because he's one of the executive producers. Him along with Norman Lear doing this to us from the grave because he's gone. He left here at the end of last year at about 100 years old or something. And Steph Curry. Steph Curry is an executive producer also.
You said Steph Curry.
Shooting up deal with
Wait. You said Steph Curry, the basketball player, is an executive
Yes.
producer?
Yes.
Wow.
That's a step.
Wow.
That's a big step backwards for him.
Yeah.
Steph Curry, who by the way made $52 million last year. Didn't even make the playoffs, but made $52 million, and also made that minstrel show. Had something to do with that. My cousin who was with us during our demonstration we held in LA on June 5th at the offices of Netflix. As a matter of fact, we had demonstrations in Los Angeles and New York on June 5th at 5 o'clock, where we were outside the offices of Netflix and in protest of this sitcom, demanding that it be canceled, that it be taken off the air right away. But he did some research and shared that a couple of people were involved in the making of this film were some people that Steph Curry works with, has been working with previously. Steph Curry has gotten a dynamite open letter. The people in the Bay Area, from what I understand, have been checking him on this, but his responses have been weak so far. He's said he acknowledged the epitome or the pinnacle of sitcoms that Good Times was. However, he said this is for adults. And then when I asked about his children or watching it with his children, he said, I won't be watching it with my kids. But what about ours?
Right.
What about you talking about it's for adults. What adult wants to see a 2-year-old baby dealing drugs? What adult gets a kick out of seeing a 12-year-old girl twerking, a 12-year-old girl having her cycle with blood, laying on the bed with blood, oozing out of her? What adult? It shouldn't be for nobody. It's embarrassing. It's dangerous. What adult wants to see a girl throwing her menses on one of her classmates or writing her schoolwork on a chalkboard with blood?
Yeah, it's like that. I had to catch my breath as you were talking. It is really that disgusting, right? Doc James, can is your mic working now? He's still struggling.
So when you come on, can you see that blue button? You got to press that blue button to allow the mic. Right when you first come on.
Yeah. What he and CEMOTAP
so when you go back out, when you first come on, it's going to ask you, right? It's going to say, there's a button.
He's saying he sees it. Yeah, it's just not working. Oh man, I had a moment like that once.
Oh, I hit more on my phone, and it went to settings, and I saw something about the mic and all that.
Yeah,
more. I don't know if that's going to help or not, but we definitely need to hear from my brother.
Yeah, and then Andy Richards just dropped something in the chat. Andy, thank you. We need that. That's what I was getting at with that question. I want to know who those names
What it
are.
says, see,
Answers on that.
it says allow mic. It says you have to allow them to turn on your mic.
Yeah,
Can you
I
see
don't know.
that?
Yeah, I see it. I don't know if he's going to see it. He was shaking his head like he did, but it may be something else.
But if I can share too, though, with
Come on,
CEMOTAP,
come on, we got you. Yeah, you here.
A forum at 2:00 Eastern time that we're dealing with the next steps. We had several forums concerning this issue. This is an urgent, this is an important issue that we must address, because it's we've been doing this work with the music for quite a while now. And in one of the presentations that we did not too long ago, one of the people asked the question, do I think it's going to get worse? And I said, that's a good question. And
We
I
don't
said,
check
I
it.
think it will get worse.
If we don't check it, it will get worse.
Properly address it. So we have to
That's
properly
right.
address this.
If we don't check it, it sure as hell will get worse. And
we can't be spectators. We're not, this is not a spectator sport. We can, we show our disdain with our thumbs down and on these podcasts. Well, let's get involved. If we properly organize, we can put a stop to this. We must put a stop to this.
Quabina, can you see the chat that says the two columns, private chat and comments? More than welcome to drop the link for Saturday's meeting in the comments for folks who want to get on board and help with this fight. We're going to be in the streets. I'm going to miss the call, but we're going to be in the streets. We got our reparations Juneteenth march on Saturday around that time. But I'm going to, and I've missed the other calls, but I've definitely been following it and been wanting to give y'all a mic on this for a minute. And then I'm very proud and that y'all there and to turning the volume way up on this thing as you have been doing. And this, we're dealing with, one of these corporate giants, right? So, being united around this thing is hugely important. And the fact that we have engendered a Black national response to this is where we need to be going. So I definitely just want to shout all of y'all out and lifting y'all up for having done that and continuing to do that, right? So yeah, definitely share that. Doc, you doing any better? He's still struggling, right? And then the history, and CEMOTAP's history is so important to us, particularly here in the New York area.
He can, what about sending it to him on his phone if you want to try to get on through his phone?
Let's see if I look.
Yeah, look, I'm having an issue hearing you guys. That's why you probably see my ear when I'm not talking.
I see you. I see you turning your head. Yeah. But you coming in good, and I'm glad we got you, because this would have been a real miss if we didn't have you here at all. I'm gonna try and see if I can send this to his phone.
No, but CEMOTAP, New York, CEMOTAP on West, CEMOTAP, Ohio. We have the National Black Leadership Alliance with Bob Law, who's supporting this, the Nubian Leadership Circle, and also I'm trying to think of Brother Karenga's organization. It's a shame, but so many other organizations and people who are not with this or in support of CEMOTAP's work to put a stop to this.
Yeah, and it's good work. It's good work.
There's a scene in the show where the daddy has a whip. For some reason, just randomly has a whip, and he takes the whip and strikes his son across the face with it. So the son's laid out in the house. This is the son who can't pass the 10th grade, who his teacher has suggested that he try OnlyFans. She wants to see out the size of his feet. A teacher who's smoking cigarettes, who has a flask of whiskey in her pocket, and this is the type of stuff that they're showing in this sitcom. And some people are saying this is the worst. I've heard from several people saying this is the worst depiction of African people on the screen ever.
And certainly, if not ever, for a long time. We couldn't see this coming.
What's amazing though is that all of these people that you mentioned are young, conscious Black people who came up in the 90s and know something about this level of racism and white supremacy, especially when you talk about Tisha Campbell. All the struggles she went through in Hollywood to get the opportunities that she currently has. So and then JB Smooth. I mean, that's a cat I know personally. I represented him when he first started in comedy here in New York. So I mean, it's just incredible, man. That
Cree Summer, she was one of the conscious people on Different World. I remember Cree Summer and
Yes.
Keisha Campbell doing a benefit for my uncle in Los Angeles years ago. So
Yeah, so they can't say they
know
don't know
better.
better. Yes,
either they can't find them or they offered them a lot of money.
How about now?
Oh,
There
yeah,
you go.
Okay, yeah, the phone worked. I've been on
right.
StreamYard a number of times, so I wasn't having any technical problems, or I wasn't having any problems with the technology. There's something wrong. I don't know, either with my mic or whatever. I think Brother Quabina basically Quabina's told you just about everything. The one thing that I could do is show you some of those pictures. The picture of the young girl on her menses, the picture of Harriet Tubman supposedly doing Gwyneth Paltrow. These are very foul people with sick minds. That you have to be sick to.
Oh, he just went. Oh, there you go.
Oh, you come.
Nah, he's back there.
Yeah. And he just muted himself. He was on it. Oh, I just put, and I appreciate everybody dropping it in. I just put on the Facebook page and on our YouTube page the petition in connection with the protest. Everybody, let's blow that petition up, right? Let's blow that up to the fullest, right?
You can't hear me again, right?
There we go. There you go. There you go.
Can. Okay, I don't know how I left the studio. I didn't do anything to leave the studio. A few minutes ago, Facebook told me that I was that they thought somebody else had hacked my account and that they were shutting it down. It's a smart solution to somebody hacking my account. You shutting me down. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't know how much of this stuff is accidental. I don't really have to talk too much. I think Brother Quabina covered it really well. Everything. The only thing is I have pasted the link in the chat. I hope people can see it. It's tomorrow at 2 p.m., the 22nd at 2 p.m. That's when we'll be having our meeting. We've had several meetings so far, a couple of demonstrations, as Brother Quabina told you, on the East Coast and the West Coast. And what's necessary is for this thing to multiply. I love the talk y'all were doing about the street, and I love particularly when the brother started talking about selling Whiting H&G. I did that. I sold Whiting H&G. I was up and down those project buildings and stuff by myself. Go to a abandoned building with one light on the 4th floor, and you walk up to that 4th floor to go deliver that paper and stuff to them. Done that. Worked in the prisons. Worked on the community. What they call assertive community.
He went back out again.
And we're not doing anything, right? That's
Yeah. I don't know what that is, and he's so strong. He's been holding it down for us for a long time. Yeah, and he said he doesn't realize that we can't hear him. Quabina went out to try and come on back in.
I seriously think that they might be doing this to him on purpose, man.
It could be. We can't dismiss that,
because there's no way that his phone's working, and his computer's not. You know what I mean?
It is absolutely possible. I got knocked off of some of these meetings for months. I'm just getting back on Facebook and Twitter and Gmail and all of that, and that's one of the. That's a fresh frontier that we need our young folks to go into. We create our own Twitter and our own StreamYard and our own Facebook and IG, so we're not subject to being arbitrarily whited out when we're trying to speak truth to power and trying to lift our community's eyes up on real things they need to see. So that's work for us to do. But it's I just really wanted to let him really give us some of his CEMOTAP's long vision on this, because CEMOTAP has been on this consistently for decades, going back to the 90s. And him and Dr. Betty Dodson really created a very strong model of defending the African image that is bearing fruit in a critical confrontation that we're talking about right now. As Quabina was laying out all those other outlets of CEMOTAP protests coming from this. That's I think that should be attributed to the work of both Dr. James McIntosh and our elder
Hey,
Dr.
Brother Corbin, I just wanted to ask you a question. You mentioned Brother Bob Law. How's he doing, brother?
He's doing good. He's struggling a little bit, but he's doing good. We had a strong conversation a little over a week ago with the National Black Leadership Alliance. He's sounding good. So I didn't know you asked about him, man. And didn't we hook up? Because I know you remember we did the 50th anniversary of the National Black Political Convention.
And I got you, Rakia, to come on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. I hooked you up with Rakia. Yeah.
Yeah. And there was a sister who just put in the chat about the images that this puts on Black people around the world, because this Netflix, people can see this all around the world.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's very dangerous. It's already been so dangerous with the music, and now with this, it's even more dangerous how we're depicted around the world and how we're set up. Dr. McIntosh has a presentation where he deals with that, and even in the open letter to the co-CEO of Netflix, he talks about how they set us up with the birth of a nation, and then right after that was the Red Summit.
Absolutely.
This could be a very serious setup.
Mm-hmm.
But they must be paying these Black folks, man, a lot of money, man, in order for them to do that. Because, Netflix, man, they pay millions of dollars, to folks to come on and do that buffoonery, man, which is absolutely incredible. But you're right, man, we've got to create a national campaign, in order to be able to say something about this. But thank God for, Brother McIntosh, man, and CEMOTAP.
Absolutely.
Yeah, CEMOTAP. Look, I was out west with our brothers and sisters in LA, and my home people out there demonstrating with LeGrand Clegg and others. And it's so true that it has to be a national, because people all around the country, again, do not like this. And when you think about Stephen Curry and putting this out, how offensive and dangerous this is, another great basketball player, professional basketball player, he just shared a message about wanting people to look at a certain documentary that offended a group of Jews, of Jews. And so they got so upset that the NBA fined him, suspended him. He was made to apologize, to meet with their leaders. But what of us? I mean, again, I said again, all the people who have expressed concern about this, they saw that and they just put it out anyway. Stephen Curry hasn't really said much of anything about it. And so he needs to be dealt with, the NBA, his sponsors, all of that concerning this Netflix debacle.
That's
Good
terrible.
time. They got the nerve to call it Good Times Black again.
Is the NBA a sponsor of this? Is the NBA one of their sponsors or no?
Well, no, we hold them responsible. I mean, I guess Kyrie held them responsible. They didn't just deal with Kyrie by himself in the vacuum. It was the NBA, it was Kyrie. So the NBA should be, it was the New Jersey Nets at the time. I'm sorry, the Brooklyn Nets at the time. The Golden State Warriors should have to pay something. Should have to deal with this. He represents them.
Absolutely. Sorry, we're having the struggle that we're having with Baba James's sound, because he really is off and giving us so much for a long time on this. And this is right at the cutting edge of why this is so important, right? And Malcolm, I'll Malcolm size this conversation for a minute too. This is one of the things we're talking about, the danger of it, Kwabena, right? This is something that Malcolm exposed that the U.S. Information Agency did at the height of our movement, right? To try and prevent the Pan-African unity that Malcolm was trying to build when we were talking about Pan-Africanism under him back then. How those the worst of the stereotypes that we had then were farmed out to the Caribbean and to Africa and whatnot as they were, fighting for their independence. Oh, our Negroes in America, our brothers in America ain't serious, so we ain't gonna really pay them no mind. And Malcolm had to crush that. Malcolm had to crush it. And the irony is that Netflix, what did they come out with? Who killed Malcolm X? Right? Well, Netflix? Who you killing? Who you killing?
Yeah.
Right? And so, I mean, and I had problems with that. I participated in that because I was definitely trying to give them some more to deal with, right? Because the families coming out with some of these aspects of the assassination that I told them about that they didn't touch, and how this city is not just a city that where the hitters came from, but this is the city that picked up Malcolm's line, Ballad of the Bullet and Cultural Revolution, and became one of the key cities on the question of black self-determination under a myriad, right? And they missed and totally missed all of that, right? So they definitely need some fire up under their behind, right? And we intend to bring some more fire up on their behind for this and to continue to build that united front, right? So I appreciate you, brother. Dr. James McIntosh, we are incredibly apologetic that we've got this COINTELPRO hit on your sound. Right? You be bad witness what I'm talking about. Absolutely. Right. But on to tomorrow, 2:00, we talk about those next steps, right? We will share those next steps here. This is a drum that slash microphone that can be used at any time to update community on turning this up and turning this out. That's what this is for, right? So we appreciate both of you black men for coming in the way you've been coming in on all the fronts that you and Kwabena, you covering a lot of territory from LA to Gary. I appreciate that, little brother. Appreciate that a lot. That's how we need to be rolling. That's how we
learn from our elders and those of us who make those moves. We're fortunate enough to be able to do that at times. So yeah, it's a struggle, man. Again, this music, I know y'all about to deal with that. This media, and you talked about Malcolm. Malcolm talked about how important it was, and they know it. We
science
know
and image making, he called it. That's right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ed or Hakeem, you here now? Why don't you ask Brother Kwabena is here for the first time? Ask him our ritual question.
So, who's your favorite hip hop artist? Who you listening to right now?
Right now, I'm about to go do my conscious hip hop show, 25 years and flowing. Right now, I'm really liking, shucks.
Hakeem
I'm liking
Green.
Young Conda Don. I'm liking D1. I'm liking,
Hakeem Green.
Big Crit, Lupe.
Hakeem.
Here.
Hakeem Green.
Yeah, we Facebook friends. And you gave me a song. You shared a song I really liked. I need to be playing it on my show, man. We got to hook up because I need to play some of your music on my show, bro.
Bring him on the show.
Yeah, it's not like an interview show. It's mostly just a music show. We do our time playing the music. We let the music give the message, and so we want to let your music get a message. So yeah,
this is our ambassador right here.
That's right. Salute. That's right.
Channel Live in the house.
The real hip hop is over here.
All right.
And I've been laying down conscious bars since the early 90s.
That's right.
Never strayed from it. So
I still got my Channel Live on wax.
Right, but there's Channel Live. Then there's Hakeem Green.
Right on.
So I need I need that Hakeem Green love because
All right, brother Hakeem Green.
Yeah, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm gonna hook up with you, man. I really enjoyed the interview you did with Jared too. I listened to that a couple.
Oh, that was dope. Yeah, big shout out to Jared Ball. That was a good one. But what's interesting about the Jared Ball? I heard the NBA conversation you were having, right? And Kyrie. Gotta love Kyrie. I don't agree with everything Kyrie says and does, but I just admire how he stands in his position. He doesn't falter. He stays even keeled. He doesn't lose who he is in the storm of the controversy. And I really appreciate that. But it's interesting how majority share owner of the Dallas Mavericks is one of the biggest Zionists in America. So
Mark Cuban is?
No, not Mark Cuban, even though he's a Zionist too.
Oh, I didn't know he was. Okay.
No, it's just when you get to certain levels, you just gotta assume, you're there because you're on a certain team. But
right.
What's her name? It's I can't think of her name offhand, but it's a white woman who's a outspoken Zionist. Like she put her money where her mouth is too. She puts a lot of money on that effort, billions on that effort, and that's just interesting that Kyrie plays for the Dallas Mavericks, and he's very quiet, which I'm not mad at him. You know, I'm not. He's done enough. It's just interesting. It's just wow.
And he's generous with his resources in the community too.
Oh yeah, he's generous with his resources. Oh, for sure.
For that.
Oh yeah.
One of the things I appreciate from Kyrie is the only time he got thrown out of a game, actual game, is when he was struggling with Dennis Schroeder. Dennis Schroeder was dropping N-bombs on him on the court. And so I got a T-shirt that has his statement on there dealing with that word, which we think is the most despicable, disgusting, dehumanizing word in the history of English or any other language that we call
any other language.
So huh?
So any other language?
And in any other language, it's the most
because there are countries you can go to that word means light, king, royalty. I don't know. It's just the way we use it.
In the U.S., the way Africans call themselves that, it means I'm about to shoot you, or I didn't just shot him. So I just think we're not to that point here yet. And so how we put it on each other here,
I remember
the dangerous, despicable word in the history of English or any other language.
I remember it was a time if you call a black person African, they'd want to fight you and shoot you. Matter of fact, I know people right now. You call them African, they want to fight you.
We've gained ground and we've lost ground. The ebb and flow of struggle.
If I'm like black power, we not black, brother. What you talking about? That's our problem. We call ourselves black. That's a status. That's not a nationality.
Wow. We got a lot of confusion, bro. We got a lot of work to do. I mean, we just had. Right. I know, we just had 70 people shot last week in Chicago, over 70, and the 2 weekends before that, it was 40 and 40.
Yeah.
So over 150 people shot in Chicago over the last 3 weekends. And I guarantee that out of the 150, 140 of them look like us.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. Mental illness is a serious thing. And when we take into consideration our experience here in America, the hundreds of years of oppression, chattel slavery, Jim Crowism, the attacks on our communities left and right, from government to corporate to the educational systems to the religious systems to, man, those of us who aren't walking around crazy must be crazy. You know what I mean? Like we go, so and that mental illness expresses itself in so many ways, and
right on, brother. I'm headed to that show, brother. We're gonna hook up, man. I'm gonna try to get that music from you. I'm gonna inbox.
Yeah, send me your email address, and I'll send you a whole bunch of stuff, man. Go through it. I got a powerful song called "Reckless" that was specifically, created to address the gun violence in our community and just how our young people are running around reckless, and the end result of that. So I think you'll appreciate that. I do use the N-word. I do use the N-word though, but with love though. It's always in love.
Okay. I mean, our thing on that is like, don't call yourself or your people that. It's a word, and I know the NAACP call themselves burying the word. I'm like, come on, y'all. It's a word in history, but just not call ourselves or our people that. If we're mad, just find another word to call them. If we want to express love for them, just find another word. Right now, that word, the way it's used by so many of us, is really dangerous.
You gotta
unhealthy. That's right.
Erase the negativity in our community.
That's right. All right, brothers.
All right, Carpenter. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Peace, brother. Good seeing you, man.
Black power.
Black power.
All day, every day.
Right.
Power to people.
Right. All power.
Yo, have you seen that Good Times show on Netflix?
As soon as I saw not a commercial, I saw a post on Instagram. It made my stomach. I got sick to my stomach.
Wow.
I'm like, come on, man. We gonna fall for this again. And they used the man, Steph Curry. They just using the boy, and he's allowing himself to be used by people who don't. We talk about the negativity all the time. And we got to get into the habit of highlighting the positivity. That boy Jaylen Brown. Y'all know about Jaylen Brown?
Let's talk about it. Talk about it.
MVP of the NBA championship.
But talk about it. Thank you.
The MVP of the Eastern Conference Final, MVP of the Boston Celtics championship team. This brother is so brilliant. Like, he's genius level intelligent. Graduated from UC Berkeley. I don't know what his degrees were in, but he's next level. Like, he's lectured at MIT. He's lectured at MIT. He did a lecture about the concept of pan-optimism and how we've gone from physical slavery to psychological slavery. And that the social media and the media in general uses the power of media to make us fall in line, and we don't even realize it's happening, right? So, for instance, a couple weeks ago, Stephen A. Smith said on his show that an anonymous source from the NBA said to him that Jaylen Brown is not marketable. First of all, if the person is not going to attach their name to it, Stephen A. Smith, don't even say it.
Right. That's on principle. That's right.
Principle. Two, why is he not marketable? He does nothing negative. He's not a criminal. He's not violent.
Totally clean.
Totally clean. He's like, he really is an example of the people that we want our young folks to follow and be like. He's borderline, not borderline, he's a genius. Graduated from UC Berkeley, hard worker, like genius level lectures. He just carries himself
not getting into the NBA either.
The right way, but because he stands on principle and he's proud of his blackness and he's proud to be a Muslim, and he supported Kyrie Irving.
Yes.
He stands up for victims of police brutality.
Yes.
Like, so you're just gonna out the blue say he's not marketable? You just proved the point of the lecture he gave years ago. Like, the lecture was years ago, and Stephen A. Smith just proved the point. And we have to hold people like that up. We have to elevate them, hold and honor them, and cherish them, and bring light on them, because that's gonna inspire the young people coming behind him to be more like him and less like the knuckleheads running around. No disrespect to Stephen Curry. I think Stephen Curry's brilliant. I don't think that he's a poor representation of blackness. I just think he needs to really lock in, maybe, sit and have some conversations with Jaylen Brown, who could put him up to speed. So when you get offered projects like this nonsense with the good time nonsense, but good times, with Norman Lear, he was a straight thief, straight jack, straight stole the idea, stole the concept from the brother. I think what's the brother's name from Chicago that wrote it and came up with the ideas and jacked them. Yeah, we should do more little research and dig in, do due diligence to find out what type of images are we repeating and perpetuating that could be negative and harmful to our people.
Are we doing enough to control our images?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Eric Monty, thank you. Rick Ward, Eric Monty, thank you.
That's DJ Rhino, by the way. That's
DJ Rhino on the 1 and 2s. Dish ya, Rhino, dish ya. What you think about that, Zaid?
Loving it, man. Loving it. When you gonna drop it for real? Just drop the shit.
Well, nah, here you go. Check it out. So you hear what I'm talking about, and you hear who I'm talking about.
Yes.
Carl Thomas is hopping on the hook. Carl Thomas, former Bad Boy artist.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yes.
You see Rhino looking good?
I got Carl Thomas hopping on that joint, Rhino. Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
it's about to get crazy. Yeah, man.
Oh, you got behind you. I don't want to forget this. Just put it in the back of your head. It's a footnote to this conversation, right? 24 Hours Peace is coming up in August, right? I don't know if he has reached out to you, but he should. Al Tariq Best from the Hub just sent me a track that he getting ready to release. I said, they need to be with 24 Hours of Peace.
Well, we're doing all females this year, so if you're not a woman,
wow.
all woman lineup,
Well, and I'm gonna miss it this year.
And we trying to shuffle the deck, right? So what we get, right, every year. Oh, we got the same people. You always bring up the same people. When y'all gonna give other people a chance, especially when we're talking about the local artists. There's so much great talent in Newark, New Jersey, that we got to figure out a way to kind of spread the love and give everybody a shot to rock out. But there's always next year, and we trying to move 24 hours apiece around to other cities, other municipalities. So, you know, the hub is family. Al Tariq Best is my guy. So we're gonna do this together. We always partner up, always link up. We're gonna make, you know, spread the love.
All good, all good, all good. I just had it because he had sent me that. I did a Malcolm talk for them, and in response to that, he some of his kids, and the kids over in the safety zone that Hassan Kirby and Shombe have went to Malcolm's gravesite and actually were able to get them to participate in the ceremony. Right. So and just following up with them, I was like, hey, check this out. We just doing this. I said, all right, get it out there. Don't whisper.
Well, I tell you, if
all they use the microphones to whisper.
If he can shoot a video for it, you know, one of the things we like to do.
I know he wants to do that. Yeah.
How we want to highlight Newark talent is have artists who can't be a part of the show shoot a video that we can air on the flat screen in between sets. So that's the way people participate without actually having them on stage.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
So if you're hearing this, Al Tariq, shoot a video for that new fire you just put together so we could, you know, we could blast it on stage at 24 hours apiece on the flat screen.
Yeah.
On the Jumbotron.
Yeah, yeah. And Ed, he's in the piece that he's doing, you know, when we had Josiah on and we started talking about being trauma informed and all that. I don't know how he was able to make that work in hip hop lingo, but he did. He did. That's exactly what he's trying to address. So yeah, be good. Yeah, I know he wants to do it, and they do their own. They do, you know, their own production work is quite good. When they get their videos together, they do good stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that, without a doubt.
Can I share a piece with y'all? Something just be relative to the last conversation we had with Brother Kwabena?
Absolutely.
All right. It's about the N-word. Now, y'all remember back in the day on Station Identification, we made a song called Cause and Effect, encouraging people not to use the N-word, not to call each other N's and B's. And then, you know, after some deep research and sitting down with my brother KRS-One, who, you know, we did the knowledge and we learned a lot in terms of how deep and far back that word goes, phonetically, etymologically speaking, even to it being in the Bible as the founders of the Christian church being niggas.
I know what you're talking. I know what you're getting at.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's get straight to the fact. Egypt is really Cam, and Cam means black. But what's right and exact is what most niggas lack. The ancestors called us king. Ingu was the word for that. Inga is my queen. If you don't know what I mean, check the Kebra Nagas, which is the Book of Kings.
That's it.
But niggas don't study. They get caught up in the drama like snakes in the grass, my nigga. I don't mean naga. Check the saga. I bring you holy mana. The sun rises in the east, which wakes the holy prana. So let me pause like the comma. Check that nigga's dharma. What goes around comes around. Check that nigga's karma. Now, if you don't get the point, here's some more, my nigga. He's from the gods and earths, and he's a more, my nigga. My nigga Nigel comes from Niger. I call Nigel my nigga. People get hyper. I'm like the last poets because I love my niggas. Who would ever thought the president would be my nigga? What goes around comes around, time always tells. Words cast spells, let's dispel mental hell. Looking through the vision of another man's sight. See God in yourself, my nigga. It's all right. Just rise from the lower, plant seeds for the sower. If Jigga is my nigga, how could he be Jehovah? Jehovah's really Yahuwah, or you could say Yahoo. Now, who's the real G? Not the male, you fools. Words are just tools. Now, who weighs and measures? My niggas slipping words in the quest for earthly treasures. It's all mathematics, so we say my nigga is more right and exact, plus got swag and flavor. Since power's in the word, the Lord said name it. We named ourselves niggas. Now niggas don't want to claim it. We paint the picture, frame it. We let the devil shame. A picture with no name is a people with no aim. With no land to claim, our struggle goes in vain. But my niggas fight over words that's inflicted so much pain. I want to say my nigga said refrain around white people because they understand the pain. My naga heals the venom and makes the serpent tame. The resurrected negus on the throne set the reign. So Negus, Naga, Ingu, Inga, there's all these words that are connected etymologically.
Black
and
queen. That's what they mean. That's right. That's exactly.
And that word is usually something positive.
Yeah.
But when the devil gets a hold of anything we create, anything that attached to us, they take it, flip it on its head, and make it negative for us.
Just like the swastika.
Just like the swastika.
How about that, Rhino?
Just like the word black.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting, how that you would actually do that, because we stuck a pin in that with the mayor that he was gonna pick up on today, but he had another engagement because he left off on nigger. He wanted to go into the whole conversation about how did we get to the stage of my nigger, and we stuck a pin in it because he was laying it out. He was saying, let's go at it. And remember I told you, Zaid, we're gonna put a pin in that, because he said, well, let me tell y'all how that started. And once we were on it, brother. So we were hoping to get into it, but it's a wonder that you picked that up just now, brother.
Yo, Hot, you got that recorded, right?
Yeah, it's actually a song that I recorded with Young Guru, but I usually spit it as a spoken word piece.
But did you put it out on something?
No.
Yeah, you need to put that out, bro.
Yeah, you need to put that out, huh?
Yeah. Now would be a good time too.
You taking it to school on that, right on.
Yeah. But again, like that song right there is like 15 years old. Yeah. And then I got Cause and Effect, which was recorded in 94, but it was written in 92. I got another joint
30 years ago.
Yeah, I got another joint that I wrote. No more. Hold on, I wrote a joint in 1991 on a bus trip to Tallahassee, from Newark to Tallahassee, with Black Athena, Introduction to African Civilization, and Nile Valley Civilization. I was reading those 3 books at the same time. Right. So I wrote this joint that says, it goes, truth is stranger than fiction, the friction's in the diction. Truth is shaped by depiction, contradiction. The truth is embedded in the past, crushed to ash, but the truth always rises, so the honest will outlast. Case in point, like my pencil, history's the issue. They use the past to wipe the ass and flush it away like tissue. The truth is like comedic, black in their genetics. Moses owes us, TV slows us, keeps us from inherit. Noah had 3 sons, the black one of which was Ham. Pronounce the H like a guttural K. You see the word spells Ham, comedic. This shit gets pathetic. My mom was dead. The books I read helped me to resurrect it. Check it. I got it from the Bible. You call me a lie, I'll sue your ass and smack you up with libel. Go further down the line to the first invasions. Egypt was black, Kemet was sacked by a group of Asians. Brothers now was fed. They was having heads, 500 years of farm rule. Kemet was damn near dead. What to do? Out the son of a... Kicked them out their schools, took back their land and their riches. Holy Moses owes us. Where did he get the gold? 10 commandments on the scroll. Another lie they told. 10 of 147 negative confessions. Killing a person happened to be one of the transgressions. An Egyptian dead. Moses fled. Don't you see the point? He came back with God on his side. Then he robbed the joint. God's chosen people, but are we all equal? This only breeds concepts of theft and other thoughts of evil. God's chosen people are people who choose God, embrace the concepts of life. Yo, it's not that hard. Now, when we think about the controversy around Kyrie and Kanye West and all this uproar around that conversation, I wrote that in 1991. I'm like 30 years ahead of my time.
Yeah. That's what, but that's why I think what Rhino's telling you, you need to put that stuff out, huh? You gotta.
It's out. It's out in some form, and people gotta get it and push it from me.
But you know they ain't doing that, Hawk. So no, we gotta find a way to get it out.
We have to do it.
Exactly. That's
they not gonna do it. We gonna do it. And I'm with you. But I create it, I put it out. I create it, I put it out. And then people take what they gravitate to, and they want to help me promote it. Thank you.
But, I think that's what we got to do. When we have these public sessions, we're gonna have to find a way to play that kind of music so people can hear that, right? Mm-hmm. Because what people are banging, that stuff is going into their spirit, right? It's what they're hearing. Yeah. You talked about what you were doing while you were taking that bus right to Tallahassee. The books you were reading, that stuff came out of you. right? And that's the same thing. How we need to take what you've done and put it back into them kids so we can see what come out of them.
Yeah, for sure.
But we've got to get it. We've got to put it back out.
Well, I'm here. I'll be up there next Tuesday to Saturday, by the way.
Okay.
I'll be in Newark.
Yep. Well, we need to build when you get here, you know.
For sure.
But but Rhino, let me throw it to you, my brother. But you know, anytime you and Hot get on, I just want to sit back and listen to y'all.
That's right. That's right.
No moment.
Our feet off each other gets hot.
Yeah, man. Yo, so I mean, Hot, you didn't speak about are you going to speak about 24 hours apiece yet? Are you gonna?
Oh yeah. You know, August 23rd, August 24th, Central Avenue, 10th Street in the West Ward. We're right there. We're celebrating women. We're lifting women up. It's gonna all woman line up. We got Lady Luck, Roxanne Shante, Rod Dicker, of course. We got Lady of Rage, rocking rough and tough with Afro puffs.
Yeah.
We got Yo-Yo.
Yo-Yo.
We got Moni Love. And there's one more headliner that we haven't quite locked down yet. We're working on it, so I don't want to play my hand. So I'm gonna hold that back. I'll tell you on the phone. I'll give you the heads up. You know, if everything's good next week on the show, I'll be able to give you the go ahead to promote that. That's Friday's lineup. Saturday we're looking at Asian Doll, Honey Baby, Lola Brooks, Lady London. The Baddies, we got Biggie and Taseki from the Baddies, and there's one more huge artist. And again, we haven't locked it in yet, so I want to hold off before I pull that card. And hopefully next week, when we make Friday and Saturday's huge announcement, those names will be attached, and I'm sure it's gonna bring the people out, man.
I'm gonna be in Cuba. You doing the sisters when I'm in Cuba.
That's what's up.
Yes,
that's what's up.
Yeah. Oh, a diva. We got a diva's doing the house.
Oh, nice.
Doing the house with us.
That's a classic. That's right there, man.
Yeah.
That's
DJ Marcy gonna be in the building, spinning on the one and twos. Big shout out to her.
RCP.
I'm hoping that Queen Moore is heading up our poetry.
Yeah, she should be there. Yeah.
Of course, we're doing Mama I Made It. We'll have a nice panel of successful women sharing the jewels of how they became successful with the community. And of course, Nikki D's gonna be in the building. She's gonna do, of course, the health and wellness. Jennifer Cole is putting together a nice yoga piece for us.
Nice.
It's gonna be another magnificent 24 hours.
Dope. Yeah, that's gonna be something to look forward to.
Oh, I forgot Sunshine Anderson too. I put the flyer up today.
Yeah.
Sunshine Anderson on Friday night. She heard it all before.
You talking about the chef, Sunshine Anderson?
Huh?
You talking about the chef?
No. Sunshine Anderson, the R&B singer.
Oh,
heard it all before.
Chef. There's a chef, Sunshine Anderson from South Carolina. Your bad little sister.
Wow. Okay. Now this is Sunshine Anderson from. I think she's originally from North Carolina, but she's in Atlanta now. But heard it all before, Sunshine Anderson.
Yeah.
That's a big record, man.
Yeah. But that's a huge lineup too. That lineup is crazy.
Yeah, that's loaded.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Got heavyweights. Moni Love, Yo-Yo.
That's all heavyweights. Yo-Yo.
West Coast out here.
But now,
West Coast to East Coast. You got Lady of Rage.
Oh man. Yeah, that's gonna be nuts.
That's crazy.
That's gonna be nuts.
Lady Luck, Rod Digger, Shantae.
Rod Digger, that's gonna be crazy, bro.
Come on, man.
It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
But definitely, also want to say, happy born to Pete Rock, Chocolate Boy Wonder, Soul Brother #1. It's his born day today.
Happy birthday!
Make sure you look out for the album, the Auditorium Volume 1 with Pete Rock and Common. That's coming out soon. I don't have an exact date on that yet, but I know it's coming up.
It's crazy. You got Pete Rock and Common dropping a project.
Yeah.
Premier and Nas dropping
a Nas. Yeah. That's gonna be
LL Cool J and Q-Tip dropping a project.
The Force. Rock Kim is dropping a project. That's gonna be crazy. Who's it? God's Network. The first single off of that joint is going to be "Be Ill" featuring Corrupt and Master Killer. But yeah, the song is called "Be Ill," and the name of the album is God's Network. He's got a lot of folks on there as features too, so we got to look out for that. But the thing about this album that caught me is that Rakim is doing all the production. He's doing all the cuts and scratches. He's doing it all, man. You know, so that's the part that I'm looking forward to hearing. It's just his work. You know what I'm saying? Like his production work and just his ear, man. Just to hear that. You know, so I want to hear that, man.
You know, it was dope about what you just said.
What
is that? You know, us coming up in the culture that most of us are proficient in more than one element.
Right.
So MCs will DJ, do graph, you know, dance. It's like, you know, I'm an MC, but I came up in the dance culture. You know, KRS, he does the graffiti, MCing, DJing, Rakim, MCing, DJing. You know, it's like the cultural influence is more than just rap.
Exactly.
You know, and it shows itself when somebody is really about hip hop culture. It shows the difference between a rapper and a hip hopper.
Yep. Yeah, it's true, man. It's true. And let me tell you, I was looking at Instagram today, and Snoop was basically crowning Kendrick Lamar King of the West, man, after the Juneteenth concert that he did yesterday. I don't know if any of y'all seen the clips or anything. Somebody put it up on YouTube. I was watching it last night. Crazy, man. I mean, he brought all his TDE. He's not even with TDE anymore, but he brought all his TDE people up on stage. He brought Dr. Dre up on stage. I mean, he brought all of the Bloods and Crips, Pyru, and everybody at the end. And it was just bananas, man. You know, he really repped for Compton. He repped for the West hard
body.
And it was on Juneteenth. You know what I'm saying? And that was the beautiful thing to see that unity in the community on Juneteenth, man. You know what I'm saying? That was a beautiful thing, man.
That's what's up.
Did you see what Vinny posted?
What Vinny posted?
Yeah, he said Kendrick had a gangchella. He had gangchella on gang teeth.
On gang teeth.
On gang teeth. Yeah, and it was beautiful, man.
Man. And there was no issues. Afterwards, man, everything was peaceful the whole entire time, man. That's 24 hours of peace, like, you know what I mean? That kind of energy, man.
Yeah, and I'm a one-up Snoop. I think Kendrick is the king of hip hop right now.
Yeah, he's up there right now, man. He's doing it. He's showing and proving.
Yeah, because
every great conversation I hear.
Yeah, man, he's representing the culture. It's not just about, you know, how many chicks and how many cars and how much jewelry, and he's really changing the conversation. He's changing what people are checking for, and I'm like, oh my God, thank God for Kendrick Lamar, K-Dot, no doubt.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Kendrick's doing it, man.
Yeah, man.
But you know, and unfortunately, on the flip side, I don't know what the hell Timbaland and Swizz are doing right now, but supposedly they got with Elon Musk. They did a deal with Elon Musk where Elon Musk now is the distributor for Versus, for Timbaland and Swizz's Versus company, man. And so I guess I'm guessing X is supposed to be the format that it's going to be on when they start doing Versus. But I know I've looked online, and there's a lot of people that's not supporting this move.
I'm not rocking.
There's a lot that are, but there's
I'm not
a lot that's not. Yeah, I'm not rocking.
I'm not rocking. I'm not rocking.
I never did Twitter. I never did it when it was X. I don't do Elon Musk, and now with this deal, I'm not going to be able to do Versus either, man.
Yeah, I'm not.
Which is unfortunate because, you know,
I'm disappointed.
Yeah, man,
I'm disappointed.
That one kind of hurt, man.
You know that song I just sent you, right?
Yeah,
it's called Disha. Don't sell your ass, yo.
Yeah, look what's happening.
Yeah,
right.
And they had the nerve to post that on Juneteenth.
On Juneteenth.
Juneteenth, they're gonna post a picture of them with you know hugged up with Elon Musk.
It's sickening, man. It's like, you know, I got so much respect for Swizz. You know, I got respect for Timbaland as a producer. You know, the creative geniuses, both of them creative geniuses. hands down,
definitely.
no question about it. And you know, sometimes, too many times, it just becomes about the bag.
Yeah.
And we're willing to align ourselves with people who are not for us just to get the bag.
Yeah.
And Elon Musk is openly not for us. He's openly saying, you know, I'm when there's a black pilot, I'm nervous. I don't trust because they got the job because of DEI. No, bro, don't do that. Don't do that. He's suggesting that any black person that's in a position of power, you know, it's like a what do you call it? A quota hire.
Mm-hmm.
They're just filling quotas of their, and it's like that's so sad. That's so sad. And for Swizz and Timberland to side with Elon Musk must have been a big bag.
Yeah, man. It's sad to see that, man. That, you know, some people, man, they chase the bag so much, man, that they're disconnected from the bigger picture. You know what I'm saying? Disconnected from the people, from the community, and that was a bad move to me in my eyes, man. I didn't like it. And I can't support it. You know?
Yeah, I know Isaac Hayes Jr., Isaac Hayes the third, excuse me. He has a platform called Fanbase.
Yeah, now they could have used Fanbase. They could have actually linked up with them.
He's offering artists, you know, especially influencers like a Swizz Beatz or Timberland, equity in the company.
Right.
Like, you know, I don't think Elon's offering them equity. I don't think, you know, Triller and all these other platforms weren't offering equity in their company.
Right.
He's offering equity. Like, that's some place where you want to drive traffic to a black-owned platform so black folks can eat. And we can show black people how to maintain our power. And we just give our power away, you know, or we sell it, you know, for cheap, usually for cheap. You know, that dollar amount sounds good now. 5-10 years down the road, it's going to be like, oh, we got swindled. Oh, it was a BS deal. Oh, they did it. Like, yeah, but you could have ate with your people and you decided to go to the Wills Mills. Like, well, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Somebody who's openly against you and your people. I don't get that.
And that means, and that just shows that they're not even tuned in to what's going on. Because if they heard Elon, if they heard any of this,
no, they heard it, bro. They heard it.
Think so? You think they just washed it away?
That check be speaking louder than the racism, bro.
Word.
That's how much you going? Hey, well, you know, people just got to be mad at me. They'll get over it.
That's crazy.
You know, and what's interesting about Elon Musk, you know, he said that, you know, one of the reasons he allowed Trump back on X, he said that he didn't care whether people told the truth or lied on X. He said he doesn't care.
Yeah, he doesn't care about a lot.
Right. So he was like, listen, I'm not going to fact find. If you put something up there and somebody decide to believe it is truth, he said, well, I don't give a shit. He says your truth. It ain't mine, but you putting it up there. So that form of media, right, is not reliable.
Right.
Right. And most people and most young people, as you know, they derive all of their information from social media. Mm-hmm. They don't buy a newspaper. They don't buy a magazine.
They're not buying books.
Right. And they're not buying the books, you know, that Hawk talked about reading on his way to Tallahassee. They're not doing that. So they're on their phone, right? Bashir told me yesterday or the day before, he said on Juneteenth, he said they went to a meeting for his nephew for college. And he said that the college person in the bursar's office had to say to his nephew, can you just get off of your phone long enough to hear about what opportunities you can get financially?
Yeah. Well, I saw a piece the other day on social media, and it was the theme was, what do you bow to? Like, what you bow to is what you praise. What you bow to is your God, right? So he went through all these lists of things that we bow to without realizing that we're bowing to it. And the biggest one was the cell phone. In order to use the cell phone, what do you do? You bow to it.
Wow.
You bow to it.
Wow.
That is your God. And then you know what, dope, when something's dope, or what dope is, right? Dope opens up the dopamine centers of the brain. So the brain releases the dope. The dopamine comes from the brain. It's inside the brain. And every time you do something that makes you feel good, it's because the dopamine is being released that gives you that pleasurable feeling. So when you grab for the phone and you're scrolling and you're liking, or you see likes, that's the dopamine being released in your brain to make you feel a certain. It's a chemical addiction that we have to our phone. It's not as simple as put your phone down. It's really replacing the habit with something else, so you get that feeling from something else. So like, I don't sleep with the phone in the room. I don't do that. I leave the phone downstairs. I don't bring the phone in the bedroom when I go to sleep, because when I wake up, I don't want to reach. My first inclination can't be reach for the phone.
Yeah, that's something that I practice. It's not reaching when I wake up.
My own thoughts in my own head. I want to wake up and visualize my day without, somebody said who wrote this and what so and so. No, I don't need that. But I still have a long way to go in correcting myself and always reaching for the phone, staying locked in to this device, because this can easily become our God because we bow to it. Yeah, man.
Become the devil.
Yeah, that's real talk, though.
South Africa apartheid, emerald mines, bowing to Musk is bowing to the resource theft of Africa. Absolutely, Trevor Conroy. Absolutely. It's like we be having open enemies. They ain't even like behind closed doors on the low. No, they be straight up. I don't mess with black people, and I take their stuff and I steal their stuff and I run their countries and I run their thing and then our heroes and sheroes will go right over there and party and dance and do a little shindig, do a little jigaboo, and we supposed to. And it's like, man, like we don't have. Where's our pride?
Yeah.
Where's our pride? Like Swizz, Swizz is a proud black man. Like Swizz is about black people. Like I know Swizz. We've had conversations. He ain't shallow. He's not like, Diddy did this or, other people, 50, no disrespect, just, how they move. I see how they move. If they did what, I'm like, Swizz, man, that bag must have been huge, bro.
That's why he's on Instagram trying to defend it, saying, "Don't worry, you'll see in a minute. You'll see in a minute." Like he's got a big surprise or something that's gonna make up for it.
Nah, you could have took that energy over to a black-owned platform. We're gonna drive the culture there, but we don't do that. Can I spit another piece for you guys?
Yeah, man.
Right. I think you guys heard this before, but just in lieu of the conversation, it's called Stolen Art. Something out of nothing, the culture grew from breaks, boys with fat laces helping DJs carry crates. 12 inches with the name covered up, 45s black with tape, needle dropping on the get down part on the one, never late. The moonwalk looked like skates, time is infinite like the 8, build to destroy the devil's world, God body at the gate. In God we trust, in dollars we lust, catching crumbs off the cake, now we bop to a beat of walls of concrete in northern state. It was 88, we was victims of a scheme. It was all just a dream, but now my homie is a fiend. We live for the culture, but we kill for the cream, trying to make the street light up, stay on your toes, Billie Jean. It's like hip to the hibbit, flow liquid like exhibit, here to create the culture with every breath as I live it. They try to prohibit, but I'm the master to pivot, no gimmicks on point like a digit. I'm like Malcolm ready to rock it, get your hand out my pocket. Everybody the gatekeeper, but y'all forgot to lock it. Swear by culture freedom, I got more vice than Tubbs and Crockett. Now my boy Elroy out the space like Spacely Sprockets. Truth be told, we was crushed from the cold. Niggas getting high off the dust from Sugar Hill. Now the truth gets sold with strippers on a pole. Delight just with rappers for the thrill. Getting a rush from off one pill when Flash was on the wheels. Singing white lines with my brothers and folding bills. Slinging dimes when Uncle Joe wrote that bill around the same time messing around with Hillary and Bill. It was COINTEL. Now y'all go and tell. Hop on the gram. Look, show and tell. No ethics and no codes. Just keep the Just cut the pie a la mode, spinning red whites, now lights the block like a strobe. Behold, the pale horse as he rode, here to bring death with guns to unload. Conspiracy to conspire is a theory on the wire when Cohen is a priest whose doctrine is the liar. Here to rob the hood, I keep it tucked like the friar. Grew into a man following rappers I admire. No more B-boys in the cypher, no more DJs catching breaks, and everybody in the trap with 45s wrapped in tape. The culture has been raped, pimped out, and straight slutted. Just like the Bronx in the 70s, everything gutted, crusted, rusted, busted, and disgusted. We should have shut it down when Chuck said not to trust it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Nice, bro.
That would I like that one.
The gatekeepers.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping whose gate, though?
Right.
Yeah, that's the question. Yeah. Listen, man, we're out of time, so let me give everybody an opportunity to go around one time. So why don't you start it off, Zaid? You got any final words you want to say?
Yeah, I just want to shout out Kwame for coming through with Dr. McIntosh. He gave us a lifeline on the protest. The call for the next steps, and that Netflix action is tomorrow at 2 o'clock. 12 o'clock, we're in the streets, Juneteenth and reparations. They stole us, they sold us, they owe us.
Yes. You want to say something, Rhino? You got any final words?
I'm taking a break from my regular scheduled shake up on Saturdays. But if you go to twitch.tv/RhinoCMZ, hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. That way you'll know when I go on. Because right now, what I'm doing for the summertime until September, I'm going to be doing pop-ups where I'm playing, all of the vinyl and stuff that I'm doing. It's called Crate Sessions with CMZ. But it's gonna be pop-ups, like whenever I feel, whenever I'm in the mood, whenever I get the urge, I'm gonna jump on and rock some of this vinyl that you see behind me. So that's what's going on. So definitely twitch.tv/RhinoCMZ, hit the notification bell, hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll be locked in.
You got any final words, Hot?
Hang around the cesspool, you're bound to get messed on. People play themselves just to try to get on. All captivated, caught up in the trance. Life is like a party and the devil want to dance. And you do the hustle. Now you want to tussle with Russell. Anyway, that's this year. Coming soon. Look out for 24 Hours of Peace, August 23rd, 24th. We got the ill lineup with elevating women, lifting women up, peace, love, unity, safely having fun. Central Avenue, 10th Street, 24 Hours of Peace, Newark, New Jersey. Let's go.
Yes, sir.
Coming to the West Ward. Coming to the West Ward, where our brother Do is the councilman.
Councilman, hip hop.
Yep.
In City Hall.
So listen, for me, I just want to thank Reverend Roundtree, Councilwoman at Large Roundtree, for coming through. Want to once again tell you that her event is taking place tomorrow. It's called the Madam Louise Scott Legacy Brunch. It's going to be tomorrow, Saturday, June 22nd, 11 a.m. to 3. It's going to be at the Kruger Scott Mansion on 601 Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. So make sure you guys go by and support Councilwoman Roundtree. Also want to thank Brother Larry Ham, POP, People's Organization for Progress. Again, their rally is taking place tomorrow at 12 o'clock. It is the Juneteenth reparations march and rally. Although Larry said it's not going to be much of a march, since it's going to be that hot outside.
He's be rally, yeah.
He said he didn't want to see all them old folks laid out in the street.
That's right. He one of the oldest.
Bring the water.
Yeah.
Stay hydrated. Anybody going out there, stay hydrated.
So make sure that if you're coming out, make sure you're dressing with some light clothes and some water. That's going to be tomorrow at 12 o'clock. So for me, I want to say thank you. Of course, want to wish our brothers John Austin and Bashir Muhammad Akinyele, two of our founders of this show. I want to thank Zaid, want to thank Hawk, and want to thank Rhino. Thank everybody for tuning in and everybody for coming through. And want to thank
and big ups to Donna.
Huh?
And big ups to Donna.
And big ups to Donna. Forgot Donna. Yep.
Can't forget Donna.
And yep, want to thank Donna. And so all of our co-hosts, everybody, Kalina, everybody who come through and help us put this show together every week. So we thank all of y'all. And until next time, as my brother said, this is All Politics Are Local. And we will catch him at Zaid.
See you in the whirlwind.
Catch you in the
whirlwind.
And you don't stop.
Peace.
Yes, sir.